One day at school, Oda, Akira, and the second-year students of a Japanese high school witness a glowing rune appearing on the classroom floor. They become confused as their classroom starts quaking and a bright light surrounds them. They lose consciousness briefly and wake up in an unfamiliar place. Akira is overwhelmed and wonders where they are. He sees a tall man wearing a royal robe and crown standing up. The man greets all the students and welcomes them to his palace, explaining that they have been summoned to another world. He introduces himself as the king and the girl beside him as his daughter, the princess. The king assures her that their presence is for an important reason. Akira wonders about the current situation. The king continues his speech, revealing that he brought them to this new world because he needs a hero to defeat the Demon King. The other students struggle to believe that they have been summoned and are potential heroes. The king explains that the world they are in is called Morrigan, consisting of 4 continents inhabited by humans, elves, beastmen, and demons. He rules a country called Retris, which has the largest human population but is currently under threat from the demons. He informs them that they have been selected as candidates for the hero title, desperately hoping they can slay the Demon King for the sake of peace in this country. An old man with a staff comes out from behind the king and tells the students that only one of them can become the chosen hero. However, the others will also receive special powers, and all of them have an important role in fighting the demons. He explains that he will show them how to discover their abilities. Some of the students are surprised and curious about what kind of abilities the old man is talking about. He reveals that in order to see the full details of their abilities, they need to say the phrase, "Status open." Akira decides to follow the man's instructions and says the phrase. Immediately, a hologram appears in front of him, displaying information about his skills, health points, mana points, attack power, defense power, and more. Akira realizes from the hologram that he is an assassin with 1800 HP and 1200 attack power. He wonders how his numbers compare to others. Akira can only see his own status bar, and his classmate asks if he has seen his own. Akira confirms that he has. However, he admits that he can't remember the name of the classmate who approached him or the names of half his classmates. Akira asks the boy about his occupation, and the boy reveals he is a wind mage, but not the hero. He then asks Akira about his occupation, and Akira tells him he is an assassin. The boy gets excited and suggests calling Akira a ninja because he always disappears during classes. Akira assumes that the status bar in this world is based on their past experience and characteristics in Japan. He realizes that he acquired skills like arithmetic and negotiation through bargaining for groceries in the local market. Akira's classmate asks him who he thinks will become the hero, and Akira thinks for a moment before mentioning Sato Tsukasa as a potential candidate. Akira believes Tsukasa has the qualities of a hero because he has a good appearance, an impressive academic record, excels in sports, and holds a leadership position in the student council. The old man gathers all the students and presents a crystal ball on a small pillar. He tells them to line up and touch the ball one by one. The old man explains that the ball is a magical tool that scans their abilities and shows their status to everyone. Out of curiosity, Akira becomes worried about the ball revealing their abilities, as he doesn't understand the significance of the situation. The old man randomly chooses a girl to go first, and she agrees. Akira realizes that revealing their abilities publicly is risky. When the girl touches the ball, a large hologram displaying her stats appears for everyone to see. Akira is confused and shocked to see that the girl's abilities are much weaker than his own. He wonders how this could be possible and senses that the situation is not favorable. Determined to keep his abilities a secret, he manages to activate a skill called Stealth. Stealth is a skill mainly employed by assassins to hide their presence from ordinary eyes. His classmate tries to tell him something, but to his surprise, he can no longer see Akira. Confused, the classmate scans the surroundings, wondering where Akira has disappeared to. Akira, relieved that his stealth ability worked, takes this opportunity to remain alert in case anything unusual arises. It's now Tsukasa's turn, and Akira closely observes to see if Tsukasa's index is stronger than his own. This would indicate that it's safe for Akira to reveal his own status as well. As Tsukasa approaches the crystal ball and places his hand on it, murmurs arise among the classmates, suggesting that Tsukasa might be the chosen hero. When Tsukasa's profession is revealed as the coveted hero, Akira notices that Tsukasa's overall stats are still significantly lower than his own. This puzzles Akira, leading him to wonder why he possesses greater power than the hero himself. The old man warmly welcomes the hero, expressing delight at the sight of him. He explains that in the current world they inhabit, most individuals have an attack power that reaches a maximum of 100. Even the most skilled warriors have only reached a recorded maximum of 500. Concluding his speech, the man assures them that with the hero on their side, they can easily defeat the Demon King without encountering any problems. Akira starts feeling uneasy and wonders what caused him to become so powerful. The old man tells all the students to follow him, promising to assist them in getting the right equipment. Akira notices a surveillance camera on the ceiling and feels even more uneasy, sensing that something is about to occur. Later, he discovers an available room where he can rest and contemplate the situation. He ponders the purpose of the assassin class and realizes he's meant to be in the background for the hero. Due to his negotiation skill, he also senses that the king is hiding something from the rest of them. He decides to keep hiding and stay away from the ball. Akira remembers that since the introduction, he has been separated from the other classmates, waiting quietly for an opportunity. He realizes that the room hasn't been cleaned since he entered, but luckily it doesn't have any cameras. Akira decides to leave his room at night to uncover the king's secret. He breaks into the armory to get new clothes and weapons, as wearing his school uniform would make him stand out. He quickly finds the king and overhears a conversation with Prince Maria. She mentions that the summoned students are unaware of anything unusual and are clueless about their purpose. The king instructs her to stick to the plan and prevent the students from entering the gallery. He plans to send the knight commander to train them the next day. After the princess leaves, the king goes to the study to write something. Akira attempts to assassinate him but changes his mind at the last moment, realizing he hasn't figured out the king's plan yet. He decides to retreat, a decision he later regrets. Meanwhile, in the forest, a young girl runs frantically, being pursued. Suddenly, an arrow hits her legs, causing her to fall. She realizes the arrow is tipped with a tranquilizing poison. As she tries to remove it, her attacker, a woman, approaches and mockingly questions why the girl is still alive. The following day, all the students gather in the dining area for breakfast. They appear to be enjoying themselves and engaged in quiet conversations about various topics. Suddenly, Tsukasa attracts attention by loudly striking the table and rising to his feet. He asks everyone to listen to him for a moment. Tsukasa acknowledges that they all must be feeling disoriented and unable to think clearly due to the shocking event they experienced the previous day, being summoned to another world. However, he assures them that he intends to utilize his strength to aid the people of this new realm. He encourages them, stating his belief in their inner strength, and implores them to join him in the mission to defeat the Demon King. This rouses the students and they cheer him on. Tsukasa, however, privately doubts their enthusiasm, as he realizes they have no knowledge of whether the king and princess can be trusted as allies. He also ponders how they will react when they discover that the tale of the demon invading human territory might be a falsehood. Nevertheless, the students agree to follow Tsukasa's lead. Akira, on the other hand, sighs in relief, grateful for having activated his stealth ability beforehand. Once breakfast concludes, he briefly contemplates escaping the castle alone. Later, at the training grounds, the students marvel at its immense size, acknowledging that it surpasses even the expanse of their schoolyard. A lively man steps forward and introduces himself as Saran Misray, the knight commander of Redis' kingdom and his last line of defense. In a playful manner, he confides to his vice commander, Zeal Asti, that such an introduction feels rather embarrassing. However, Zeal advises him that revealing his true nature may cause the students to underestimate him. Commander Saran informs the students that in 1 month's time, they will venture into an underground dungeon. For this reason, he pledges to train them diligently every day until that time arrives. Some students worry if they can become strong in a month. He reassures them that if they don't improve despite his training, the issue lies with their incompetence. The students feel dejected, but he acknowledges their potential and believes they can overcome the training effortlessly. Commander Saran and Akira briefly lock eyes. Akira smiles and acts normal, but doubts if their gaze really met because his stealth skill is active. Akira decides to leave as he doesn't want to follow the king's order. Saran instructs Zeal on training the students and entrusts the responsibility to him. Zeal tries to object, but Saran disappears quickly. Akira is still hanging around when he suddenly hears the commander asking where he's going. Akira stutters, trying to engage in casual conversation, but the commander sees through him. Akira asks how the commander can see him, and the commander reveals his special eye skill called Evil Eye. Evil Eye is a skill that allows its user to see things that normal eyes can't see. Akira stops pretending and offers himself the punishment for skipping training. However, Saran isn't interested in punishing or sending him back to train. He simply wants to know where Akira is heading. Akira confesses he's going to the library. Saran reminds him that the king prohibited access, but Akira wants to learn more about their world. Saran confirms Akira's use of the stealth skill, and Akira confirms. Saran asks about Akira's skill levels, and Akira mentions they're all at level 1. Saran proposes to teach Akira how to upgrade his skills, but Akira suspects that there's a catch. Saran suggests a trade of information about the respective worlds. Akira agrees, and they seal the deal with a handshake. Zeal appears and calls for the commander. He finds the commander with Akira and scolds him, saying they still have a lot of work to do. Zeal apologizes to Akira for Saran's behavior. Akira asks Zeal if he can visit the barracks another time, and Zeal happily agrees. On their way back, Saran and Zeal notice that it's been a long time since Saran smiled the way he did with Akira. Saran agrees. Zeal asks Saran what they talked about, and Saran tells him it was just a casual conversation about sharing information about their worlds. Saran tells Zeal about some things in Akira's world, like a moving metal box, flying metal clumps, and how news spreads instantly worldwide. Saran also mentions that Akira said he comes from a place called Japan. Zeal remembers that the first hero was also from Japan, and suggests that Akira might be stronger than the first hero. Saran agrees, mentioning that Akira's stealth skill is maxed. Zeal is surprised by this information because, besides the first hero, no one else has ever achieved a maxed skill. Saran explains that people in their world usually have a max skill level of 9, and it's rare for most people to go beyond level 7. However, those summoned from other worlds can easily exceed these levels. Saran wonders why the king didn't pay attention to Akira and suspects that Akira used his stealth skill to avoid the ritual the previous day. He is confident that the king has no idea about Akira's abilities. Saran continues to praise Akira's talent until Zeal asks if he plans to bring Akira to their camp. Saran replies that if Akira has realized the king's true nature, it might be okay to share their thoughts with him. Saran decides to personally train Akira, not just for surviving the dungeon, but to help him make the most of his skills. Tsukasa is training in the field when he spots Akira. He expresses his dislike for Akira and reveals that they have known each other since they were young. But Akira forgot his name when they were in middle school, despite sitting next to each other. Tsukasa mentions his popularity, good grades, athletic abilities, and decent looks. Yet Akira still doesn't remember him, indicating a lack of interest. Tsukasa has been secretly observing Akira since they arrived at Morrigan, and is unhappy with Akira's reluctance to join the team, and his growing friendship with the commander. Tsukasa wonders why Akira won't acknowledge him. Princess Maria approaches him and offers him a glass of water, which he accepts with a smile. He reminds himself to stay calm because he's the hero, but resolves to become even stronger to prove himself to Saran and Akira. 1 month later, after completing their training, the students proudly march toward the dungeon. The civilians cheer them on, but Akira, wanting to avoid attention, uses his stealth skill to go unnoticed. However, he notices a girl staring at them with a cold gaze. He approaches her and asks why she's glaring at the heroes. The girl responds coldly, questioning if Akira understands the sacrifices made to summon them to this world. Before leaving, she suggests meeting again after Akira finds the answer, because she has a feeling they will cross paths once more. Commander Saran, along with Zeal and Akira, convene for a brief meeting. Saran announces that their next destination is the continent dungeon. He proceeds to educate Akira about the existence of a dungeon on each of the 4 continents in Morrigan, and each one is named after its respective continent. Saran assures Akira that the knights will accompany him and the other students to the dungeon, urging him to showcase the progress they have made during their month-long training. Inside the dungeon, the students courageously engage in combat with rat monsters, managing to defeat many of them. However, due to the overwhelming number of rats, a few slip past their defenses. In a moment of danger, a rat lunges at a girl, prompting her to scream, but Akira swiftly eliminates the threat. Akira expresses his surprise to Saran, admitting that he underestimated the capabilities of the students. Akira recalls that initially they were progressing smoothly through the first 30 floors of the dungeon. Unfortunately, one of the students mistakenly triggered a trap, which allowed the rat monsters to flood in. The students continued fighting, but eventually, the situation became unbearable. Akira suggests to Saran that they should retreat. Saran agrees and commends the students for their progress thus far. He informs them that he will create a path for their escape and urges them to quickly make use of it. After chanting a spell and utilizing his skill, Heavenly Blade, Saran creates a visible path for the students. Zeal instructs the students to run towards the surface, following the path. As they flee, the students realize that there are also monsters awaiting them at the entrance of the next floor. Suddenly, Tsukasa remembers a smoke bomb given to him by Princess Maria, specifically for moments of danger. A smoke bomb continuously emits smoke instead of causing an explosion. He uses smoke bombs on the animals, causing them to run away. However, Tsukasa realizes that he will soon run out of smoke bombs. He runs ahead of the other students and advises them to stay close and run together. Zeal and another knight combine their skills to fend off more monsters. Akira is impressed by their coordinated attack and asks Saran if the knights alone aren't sufficient to defeat the Demon King. Saran ignores the question and instructs them to retreat. While retreating, they hear a loud growl from the upper floor and rush to investigate. They discover a minotaur, which surprises Zeal because such monsters are typically found in deeper dungeon levels. Akira attempts to attack the minotaur, but his dagger breaks upon contact, revealing the minotaur's incredible toughness. Akira approaches Tsukasa to inquire about the situation. Tsukasa explains that they were just using smoke bombs to repel the monsters, and that the minotaur appeared after they used their last smoke bomb. The minotaur attacked them, and Tsukasa's attempt to block its cudgel with his sword resulted in a broken hand. Zeal assures Akira that the knights will handle the Minotaur and advises him to take Tsukasa to a healer. Akira escorts Tsukasa while commending his bravery and resilience in the face of pain. Tsukasa responds to Akira's statement by asking who will protect their classmates if he doesn't do it himself. In response, Akira questions who will protect him if he takes on the responsibility of protecting everyone else. Akira argues that a hero's purpose is not solely to protect others, but to use their strength to defeat the Demon King. He reiterates that their classmates are capable of protecting themselves, as they have all trained for this day. Akira advises Tsukasa to prioritize taking care of his own well-being. Tsukasa's behavior immediately becomes erratic, with him mumbling and speaking incoherently. Akira deduces that something must be wrong with Tsukasa. Asuka asks the other students if anyone among them possesses the skills of a healer or an exorcist. Two girls step forward: Hoshoyama Shiori, a healer, and Ueno Yuki, an exorcist. Yuki questions how being an exorcist can assist Tsukasa, to which Akira responds that he will explain later. Akira asks Shiori if she can heal Tsukasa's arm, and she agrees to do so promptly. Yuki inquires about her role, and Akira instructs her to use the Dispel Curse ability on him. Dispel Curse, a skill that allows the user to exorcise any type of curse or possession on another person. Yuki begins to recite her spell, casting the Dispel Curse. At first, it appears to be effective, but then Tsukasa's body resists the exorcism, surprising everyone who had no idea that Tsukasa was cursed all this time. Akira observes that the knights are struggling against a powerful Minotaur, and contemplates joining the battle. However, he hesitates because he doesn't want to leave Tsukasa alone while still recovering from injuries. One of his schoolmates encourages Akira to join the fight, assuring him that they will take care of Tsukasa. Filled with determination, Akira hurriedly approaches Saran and insists on sharing crucial information about Tsukasa. However, he suggests putting it aside until they defeat the Minotaur. Akira explains that since his dagger is already damaged, he must utilize the secret skill he has learned, regardless of Saran's approval. Saran accepts the plan and urges Akira to ensure the safety of everyone returning to the surface. With the monstrous creature vanquished, Akira and his fellow classmates find themselves under the guidance of the valiant knights as they navigate their way out of the foreboding depths of the dungeon. However, their journey is far from over, as they still have a considerable distance to cover before reaching the safety of the castle. As they tread through the dense forest, the commander issues a stern warning, urging them not to let their guard down even for a moment. Akira keenly notices the stark contrast between the chaos in the dungeon and the eerie silence that now envelops the forest. Realizing the importance of remaining vigilant, he reminds his companions to stay alert, recognizing the need to prioritize their own safety for their own good. In a momentary respite, Akira decides to assess his own progress by checking his status. To his astonishment, he discovers a significant surge in power, propelling him from a mere level 1 to an impressive level 15. Not only has his overall level skyrocketed, but his other attributes have also experienced a substantial boost. Akira surmises that this sudden surge in strength is likely a direct result of his encounters with the formidable dungeon monsters he valiantly vanquished. It seems the most plausible explanation given the circumstances. Remarkably, his current status is thrice what it once was when he first came into this magic world, a statement to his growth and development. Furthermore, his proficiency in various skills has improved exponentially. As a pleasant surprise, he discovers two new abilities at his disposal: Roar and Intimidation. Recalling the commander's earlier mention of acquiring skills from defeated foes, Akira begins to understand the connection between his close encounter with the formidable Minotaur monster and the acquisition of these newfound skills. However, despite this exciting progress, the entire experience feels somewhat surreal and too swift for Akira to fully comprehend. Nevertheless, being the adaptable individual he is, Akira remains confident in his ability to grasp these newfound powers with ease. Contemplating the fate of the renowned hero Tsukasa, Akira finds himself perplexed by the reckless actions that characterized Tsukasa's approach during their encounters with the Minotaur monster. In Akira's opinion, it was unwise for Tsukasa to assume the burden of protecting everyone on the battlefield. Each member of their group had undergone rigorous training and should be capable of fending for themselves. Tsukasa's noble yet misguided heroism only resulted in him suffering 2 broken arms, an unfortunate consequence of his misplaced priorities. Curiosity piqued, Akira wonders if Tsukasa, like himself, has also acquired new skills as a result of their formidable foe. Returning to the safety of the castle, a sense of relief washes over everyone. To ensure that no one has been lost in the chaos of battle, a roll call is imminent. However, Akira finds himself desiring to evade this routine check. He yearns to distance himself from anything associated with the king and the castle, preferring a sense of independence. Just as he contemplates making his escape, the commander intercepts him, presenting him with a remarkable gift, an extraordinary sword unlike any other. It is a katana, a weapon with a storied past once wielded by the very first hero. The hero of then had crafted the sword with his own hands. Revealing a surprising connection, the commander discloses that both he and the first hero hail from the same time period and place, Japan. This revelation leaves Akira awestruck, as he realizes the weight and significance of the ancestral weapon now entrusted to him by his esteemed mentor. In the face of the formidable Minotaur monster, the commander known as Saran realizes that even with his full strength, he cannot confront the beast alone. However, fortune smiles upon him as Akira arrives just in the nick of time, prompting the commander to ask for his aid. Without hesitation, Akira wholeheartedly offers his assistance, recognizing that the commander's knowledge and guidance are far more valuable in the realm of the living than the realm of the dead. Saran shares the sentiment, acknowledging that there is still so much he yearns to learn about Akira's world, including the marvels of airplanes and telephones. In a sincere pledge, Akira promises to indulge Saran's curiosity and enlighten him on all he desires to know, provided they survive the encounter. With the firm agreement forged between them, they prepare to face the impending challenge. Witnessing the commander's intentions, the onlookers become aware that Saran is about to execute a skillful flanking maneuver. To ensure their safety and avoid the devastating impact of the planned attack, they obediently retreat to a designated distance from the battleground. Saran, invoking the powers of the heavens, calls upon divine assistance, unleashing a brilliant flash of lightning upon the monster's foe, causing it to bellow in agonizing torment. Now it makes sense why the onlookers had to move a safe distance. Amidst the beast's cries, the onlookers can tell that the commander has indeed inflicted a substantial blow upon the fearsome Minotaur. Saran then signals to Akira, indicating that it is his turn to take action. With unwavering determination, Akira harnesses the arcane power of shadow magic, earning the commander's admiration for his quick thinking and strategic prowess. Their combined skill manifests as a coordinated and calculated assault, catching the monster off guard. Saran commands Akira's clever maneuver, noting how the surprise attack seems to overwhelm Akira himself. This is not the first time Akira has faced such a daunting challenge, as their rigorous months of training had prepared them for such battles. Nevertheless, Akira remains undeterred, relentlessly pummeling the monster with precise strikes and utilizing the shadow magic as if they were ethereal ropes, ensnaring the beast from every conceivable angle. With resolve, Akira begins a grueling tug of war, forcefully dragging the Minotaur against its will and resistance. The clash of strengths eventually culminates in the decapitation of the Minotaur, leaving the beast defeated and lifeless. Exhausted from exerting such formidable power, Akira wants to return home. Despite his wariness, Akira is commended for his commendable achievement. Truly a job well done. The commander informs Akira that he and the first hero originated from the same time period and place, Japan. To Akira's surprise, the commander reveals that the king remains unaware of the gift, and he implores Akira to maintain their secret arrangement. It transpires that the katana was actually stolen from the castle's treasury. Yet, the commander justifies this act as a necessary evil, driven by the fact that Akira's original dagger was shattered in the heat of battle. Interestingly, it appears that the dagger is also a stolen treasure from the castle. Deep in thought, Akira meticulously examines his newfound sword. The name it bears, Kogura Suzukuri, resonates with him, as he surmises that it means Little Crow Maid. This double-edged weapon exudes an aura of darkness with its black sheath, blade, and grip. Even the reverse side of the sword is lethal. Curiosity compels Akira to delve further into the history of this particular sword. He recalls reading about it somewhere in the annals of his knowledge. Seeking confirmation, he asks the commander for its name. To their astonishment, the blade bears an inscription in a foreign language they are unable to decipher. However, the sword's true name, Yato no Kami, meaning God of Blades, is prominently etched upon it. Although the original inscription remains enigmatic to them, when Akira grasps the sword, a sense of nostalgia washes over him. As he slowly draws the blade from its sheath, additional inscriptions come into view, this time in a language he comprehends. It becomes evident that the first hero who once wielded this extraordinary weapon has left behind a message meant for whoever would inherit the sword. The message beseeches that the sword be of utmost utility in the most critical moments. This entire affair leaves Akira pondering the enigmatic nature of the first hero, prompting him to wonder what kind of person the hero truly was and what extraordinary feats they may have accomplished. As Akira carefully returns the wondrous katana to its intricately adorned sheath, he prepares to leave. However, the commander seizes the moment to inquire about something Akira had alluded to earlier, concerning the hero, Tsukasa. Eager to share his observations, Akira reveals that Tsukasa appears to be ensnared in a cursed predicament, despite numerous attempts by their classmates to dispel the curse to no avail. Intrigued, Akira seeks the commander's insight and understanding of the perplexing situation. Meanwhile, in another captivating scene, the true nature of Tsukasa's enchantment is revealed. It is none other than the princess of the castle herself, who holds him under her spell. Driven by a tenacious determination, she is resolved to shape Tsukasa's actions and thoughts according to her whims, exerting her influence and wielding her power with unwavering determination. The intensity of the situation continues to mount, adding an air of suspense to the unfolding tale. However, the princess's twisted machinations are soon thwarted by Akira, who disrupts her carefully laid plans. Unaware of his identity, she questions his audacity, presuming him to be a friend of Tsukasa. She admonishes him for daring to trespass into her private chambers, suggesting he lacks shame. Unfazed by her accusations, Akira resolutely asserts that she is no true lady, at least not in the honorable sense. He accuses her of resorting to devious means to keep someone she supposedly loves enthralled for her own selfish interests, deeming it an unsettling manifestation of twisted affection. In no uncertain terms, Akira makes it clear that he disapproves of such distorted notions of love. Driven by his sense of purpose, Akira reaches out and grabs hold of the crystal the princess had been fervently chanting over. A chill runs down his spine as he senses the frigid energy emanating from the crystal, even as he forcefully rips it from the table. With the crystal confiscated, Akira firmly believes that Tsukasa should finally be liberated from the binds of the enchantment on him. However, before taking his leave, he seeks an explanation from the princess herself, wanting to understand why she dutifully follows the king's orders. In response, she expresses her unwavering loyalty to the crown, motivated by a desire to serve the majesty's best interests. Satisfied with her answer, Akira gracefully makes his exit, effortlessly navigating through the window he had originally entered. The encounter with the princess leaves Akira deep in contemplation, pondering the profound depths of her understanding, or rather lack thereof, when it comes to love. He finds himself questioning the circumstances surrounding her upbringing and the reasons behind her distorted perspectives on affection and devotion. Seeking clarity, Akira confides in the commander, who shares a revelation. The princess tragically lost her mother during childbirth. Left to be raised by a king consumed by an abiding love for his departed queen, the princess had to navigate the complexities of love without her mother's guiding presence. This backstory sheds light on the unconventional ways in which she perceives and approaches love. Despite her upbringing, the princess has grown into her own woman, unyielding and determined. Akira will soon realize that confiscating a single crystal from her was merely a minor setback. The princess possesses an abundance of these crystals, ready to replace the one he had taken. After his encounter with the princess, Akira stealthily reports back to the commander, attempting to execute his sneaky maneuvers. However, much to his chagrin, the commander easily detects his presence, leaving Akira bewildered as to how the commander manages to ruin his stealth attempts so effortlessly. The commander, with a knowing smile, dismisses Akira's failed stealth as a testament to how well he understands him. Their extensive time spent together has forged a deep connection between them, rendering Akira's attempts more or less a waste. Turning his attention to the true purpose of his presence, Akira presents the confiscated crystal to the commander, revealing that it was the commander himself who provided him with the intuition that led to its confiscation. The crystal serves as a tangible evidence validating their hunch. Intrigued, the commander takes the crystal into his possession, his mind consumed with musings and contemplations. This newfound revelation triggers a sense of concern within Akira, prompting him to anxiously inquire if the spell has indeed been broken. Assured by the commander's response, he learns that indeed, the spell has been shattered. However, an unresolved but lingers in the commander's response, leaving Akira intrigued and yearning for further explanation. Alas, the commander remains tight-lipped, promising to examine the crystal more closely. He dismisses Akira for the night, urging him to rest after the whirlwind of events they have experienced within such a short span of time. Akira, however, harbors doubts about the safety of sleeping in his room within the castle walls, especially now that he has attracted the princess's ire as an enemy. He weighs his options and contemplates seeking refuge with someone else, hidden away in a secure location for the night. Before bidding farewell to Commander Saran, Akira brings up a topic that he had mentioned earlier, one that piques his curiosity. The commander assures him that he will have the requested information prepared by the same night, suggesting that their conversations will resume after a well-deserved night's rest. With this assurance, Akira departs, his mind buzzing with anticipation and questions yet to be answered. As the sun slowly rises on the horizon, casting its golden hues across the landscape, Akira finds himself regretting not awakening much earlier on this particular day. The previous day's battle and the subsequent shenanigans had left him utterly drained, rendering him unable to rise as early as he would have liked. However, it is hardly surprising given the exhaustive circumstances he had endured. As he begins his morning routine, Akira becomes aware of Tsukasa, the revered hero, actively seeking his presence. Inwardly, Akira reflects upon the hero's countenance, pondering whether he is finally liberated from the clutches of the curse. To his relief, Tsukasa appears to be in good spirits, and Akira decides to make himself known. Initiating a conversation, Akira inquires about the hero's well-being, concerned for his state of mind. In response, Tsukasa answers with a frantic affirmation, yet it becomes apparent that his current state of well-being is the least of his worries. There is an air of urgency surrounding him, hinting that something grave has occurred involving Commander Saran. Unfortunately, the hero is unable to disclose the distressing details on the spot, leaving Akira in suspense as he queries the nature of the predicament. Left with no other choice but to accompany the frantic Tsukasa, Akira follows him eagerly, driven by curiosity to unravel the source of the commotion. The duo hastily return to the castle, where a grim scene awaits Akira's gaze. His eyes fall upon Commander Saran, lying motionless on the floor, a fatal wound piercing his chest. The sight is nothing short of tragic, sending a wave of sorrow and disbelief coursing through Akira's being. A crowd has gathered. The commander is dead. Akira has no idea why this has happened. It's shocking and disbelieving to know he's lost his teacher and friend. He wants answers, but someone from the crowd isn't moved by Akira's distress. The person points out it is Akira's dagger sticking out of the commander's chest. Some others back up this claim. Yes, they had seen Akira in battle with that same dagger. This could only mean one thing. Akira is the murderer. Now the crowd is getting riled up. They believe Akira has killed Commander Saran. Akira tries to calm them down to explain. They're calling him names and things are getting out of control. He's perplexed. Surely someone should remember his dagger had broken while in battle with a Minotaur monster. Why can't anyone seem to remember that fact? Why isn't anyone stepping up to remind those that have forgotten? It clicks as Akira notices the princess and the king in the crowd. His classmates must be under a spell. That's why they've easily turned against him. And if this is truly the work of the king and his daughter, then it's going to take a whole lot to clear his name. He goes over to the commander's corpse and retrieves his bloody dagger from his chest. He announces to the king he'll leave since he's become an obstacle. The king doesn't plan to let Akira walk free. Technically, everyone believes he killed the commander, their last line of defense. It would be insane to let such a murderer walk out without severe punishment. Out of earshot, the princess whispers to Akira how he knows too much already, and so did the late commander. So whatever follows is their dish best served for being such busybodies. The king commands that Akira be arrested, but Akira remains surprisingly calm. He's clearly one thought ahead of the king's shenanigans, it seems. As the guards draw closer, Akira activates his stealth skill and he's gone. The king asks the guards to search for him, turning every nook and cranny. Meanwhile, the vice commander tries to reach out to Akira, letting him know that the late commander had left a letter for him together with something else Akira had requested for. The vice commander wants to know if the assassin unit was under the king's order, the Night Crows, but doesn't wait for an answer. He warns Akira to be careful as he is a target, and for him to leave the castle at once for his own safety. With a solemn nod, Akira bids farewell to the vice commander, his mind already set on his escape from the confines of the castle. The request he had made to the late Commander Saran, now an integral part of his carefully devised plan, was a testament to his foresight. It had been his intention all along to venture beyond the castle walls. Now circumstances, exacerbated by the king's reckless antics, have only hastened his departure. Yet this untimely escape comes at a steep cost. A life he genuinely held in high regard has been tragically lost. Determined and resolute, Akira takes an oath to avenge the untimely demise of Commander Saran, vowing to bring justice to those responsible. However, he acknowledges the long journey that lies ahead, as he is acutely aware of his current limitations. Despite his unwavering spirit, he understands that he is not yet imbued with the strength he aspires to possess. Thus, he grudgingly accepts that the path to vengeance may be a protracted one, requiring him to undergo further growth and empowerment before he can face his adversaries with the might he desires. The evil king is in a merry mood. He talks about the fulfillment of his desire with his daughter, the princess. The death of Commander Saran was bad news to everyone but the king. To him, the Commander Saran was just an annoying flea that needed to be taken care of. And for such a great man to be killed that easily, the princess even suggests that they should reward the Night Crows for their hard work. And what's more, the curse on everyone but the hero is now complete. All that remains is to find a reason to wage war against the Eastern Kingdom. Celebrations would be in order if not for one stubborn guy, Akira. As much as the king would like to ignore him, he just keeps living in the king's head. People like that most likely end up dying in the most random way possible, but the king still asks the Night Crows to track the boy, just to be sure. Meanwhile, it's been 10 days since Akira ventured into the king's dungeon. It's underground and there's no sure way to tell, but he uses his stomach to tell time by measuring the number of meals he's eaten. At some point, Akira realizes that he must save his ration, so he starts to roast the meat of monsters he faces, which surprisingly tastes very good. For now, he focuses on the beast-like monsters and leaves out those that look like humans, but Akira knows that at some point, he might have to stop being so picky. Moments like these when Akira rests or stops to eat, are his most vulnerable moments. To compensate for that, he always keeps his stealth and threat detection skills activated, even though using skills drains his stamina and mana. But that's about enough of what's going on in Akira's head. Right now, he must eat and get ready for the next room, the boss room. In the dungeon, there is this giant floor on every 10 floors. Just in front of Akira is the boss's room on the 60th floor. This means that he's previously faced boss level monsters on the 10th to 50th floors. The 10th floor boss was a goblin general that Akira easily dealt with. The 20th floor had an orc, while the 30th floor boss was a tough red wolf. Akira had to pass through the Goblin King before getting past the 40th floor. For the 50th floor, which has been the most challenging so far, Akira had to face a Fenrir. Facing a Fenrir shouldn't be the biggest challenge in the world, but what makes this difficult is that the beast is accompanied by 4 level 30 bosses, red wolves. To defeat them, Akira had to make use of his stealth and strike each of them from behind. Akira wonders where he would be if not for his skills. He resolves to improve his fighting techniques and not just depend on his skills anymore. Since defeating the 50th floor boss, Akira has stayed true to his resolve. He's gotten to the 60th level with the help of his curved blade skill and nothing else. However, he recognizes that the quality of his opponents keeps increasing. The young man might be forced to use his skills sooner than he wants to. Akira is now inside the boss room. Every boss room he's experienced so far has doors that automatically lock once someone's inside. These doors won't open if the battle isn't over. In other words, once Akira gets in, it's either he dies or the boss dies. Well, that's not the best terms and conditions one would like to sign up for. Akira barely lets himself inside the room before the boss shows himself. Oh, this one is a fight-thirsty fellow. The huge beast has a lion's head and upper body, together with the horns and lower body of a goat, and a snake's venomous tail. Akira knows a thing or two about Greek mythology, and from the looks of it, this huge beast is a chimera. He steadies himself for a fight. Since it's a one-on-one fight this time, it can't be that bad, right? Wrong! The chimera is as fast as it is strong. It tries to pounce on Akira, with the warrior barely getting away with it each time. What makes it even more difficult is that it has no blind spots. With the venomous snake for a tail, Akira finds it difficult to sneak in from behind and attack the creature. This isn't a one-on-one battle. This is a nightmare. Whether he's thinking about ways to survive or lost in the huge presence of the beast, Akira loses concentration for a moment. This allows the chimera to pounce on him and forcefully toss him to the wall. Akira grunts in pain. He feels that all his ribs have been broken by that move. The warrior is now cornered to a wall, and it's not just figuratively now. Akira doesn't need anyone else to tell him that it's time to drop the act. There's no way he would kill a chimera with just a curved blade. To survive, Akira resolves to put everything he has into that fight. In a last-ditch effort, Akira uses his shadow magic skill on the monster. With his hounds outstretched, his consciousness begins to fade. He must be dreaming because Commander Saran is right there talking to him. Maybe it's a remembrance. Yes, he's heard the commander say this before. Commander Saran tells him that his shadow magic, no matter how powerful, has fatal flaws. It's almost as if it has a mind of its own, with its extreme mana consumption and risk of running wild. That's why he instructs Akira to always keep his guard up while using shadow magic. Akira wakes up and all he can perceive is the stench of blood. A very sweet stench of blood. He sees that the chimera is defeated, but he still cannot move any part of his body. Just as he thought, fighting a boss level monster without using any skills is too difficult. Akira passes out again, while the shadow magic now forcefully activates itself because of his injury level. The system now goes into recovery mode, but Akira doesn't have enough mana to completely recover, so the remaining mana needed is gotten from the shadow magic. Not such a bad skill to have, eh? In the beginning, the god of creation, Aether, created the sky. After that, Aether created land. Then with his own body as a model, he created people. People refers to humans, elves, demon folks, and beastmen. The god of creation blessed them with land to live on, work to do, and status to protect themselves. He hoped that raising the people would help soothe his heart, which had already been hardened because of the conflict between the gods. However, as it turned out, people are not so different from the gods. For want of more things like land, women, or men, they waged wars all across the land. For this reason, Aether was angered by the people's behavior. He created monsters and proceeded to divide the land into 4 parts. The demon folk who were able to control these monsters were hated by the other 3 races and driven to the volcanic continent called Volcano. The elves, on the other hand, chose to live on the continent where the sacred tree soars to the sky. Their land was called the Forest. The remaining 2, humans and beastmen, kept fighting until the very end. The humans who won the fight picked the richest continent among the 4, called Continent. The beast got the beast continent called Brute. That is how the 4 races got their continent to live in. However, even after the wars ended, the the demon folk still haven't ceased their attacks against the other 3 races. Even now, the demon folk still stay as a common enemy of the other 3 races. Akira finally opens his eyes for the first time since defeating the Chimera. He must have been dreaming, and it was about Commander Saran again. He's been saying the commander a lot these days, and this time it's about the first day he met Saran. While trying to recollect the dream, he notices something even more astonishing. For someone who couldn't move an inch before passing out, his body is in incredible shape and his wounds are all gone. Akira doesn't have a clue of what happened. What he has a clue about is how he's feeling, and right now, he feels very hungry. His first instinct is to look for something to eat in the forest, but he looks around and sees the Chimera laying dead on the floor. Charity begins at home, or, on the floor of a dungeon. The meat doesn't look rotten and there are no bugs or maggots around the creature's body. Akira decides to roast it by scorching it first with a magic stone. Here in Morrigan, people who don't have magic skills can still use simple magic like lighting a small fire or creating a bit of water. Akira roasts the Chimera with the magic stone and eats. He doesn't regret it one bit. The meat is so delicious that he can't stop until he's full. Now that he's completely satisfied, he thinks back to the reason his injuries are healed. Could it be that he was found by a random passerby who took pity and healed him? But then, he was locked in the boss's room. The stranger's kindness is ruled out. Akira checks his status to confirm that he doesn't have any revival skills, and then he discovers that he has a new skill, and it has a weird name: Good Luck. Akira is not a total stranger to the skill. As a matter of fact, he had hoped to get his hands on that skill much earlier. He thinks that if he did, he might have discovered the plan to assassinate Commander Saran and even stopped it. Akira's threat detection skills notify him that there's a threat close by. He looks around and sees nothing at first, but his skills haven't failed him and he trusts them, so he takes another careful look around the area. Thanks to this look, he can avoid the slime dropping from above, just in time. His threat detection isn't the only active skill. His perception skills also strongly make him feel that there's another person in the area. But, like with the slime at first, he can't see anyone around. He decides to go from the known to the unknown by defeating the slime monster first. The slime makes a lot of noise and lots of movements, but Akira has faced worse and is unfazed by the monster. The monster sends some of its slime at Akira. Too slow, this monster. Akira easily evades the incoming shots until he gets to the monster and opens it up with a single swift blade motion. Well, that's good enough for a warm-up, I guess. Akira is ready to keep on moving, but just as the defeated monster goes apart, he notices a figure with a definite shape. Wait a minute, that's a person. It just has to be Akira to make this kind of discovery in the deepest part of the dungeon. It's a female person with long pointed ears and a very pretty face. Akira knows enough about the different kinds of people from Commander Saran's stories, so he can tell that this person is an elf. From what he knows, the elves absolutely love nature and the sacred trees very dearly. They also detest humans who love to harshly cut down trees. Akira also knows that it's very hard to see an elf leave the forest continent, so he wonders why an elf would have wandered so far away from home. These questions don't answer themselves, and he can't abandon her there, so he decides to be patient until she regains consciousness. Akira sits down to wait for the elf, not knowing how long it would take. Waiting while doing nothing is not a common occurrence for Akira. His life is usually filled with incidents, learning, and training, so maybe waiting might provide a fresh perspective. He talks the talk but cannot walk the walk. After a little while, he gets bored and decides to look for something to do while waiting. He remembers that he had a certain skill from the start called the Eye of the World. He has never tried this skill and has no idea what it can do. This might be a good time to test the skill. Eye of the World is a skill that makes the user see the entire truth of the world. It's also possible for the user to adjust the area of sight. Akira gives the skill a try. However, his body cannot take it, and his head feels like it's about to split into two. He sees a lot but can't keep it going, so he cancels the skill before it takes its toll on his body. Shadow Magic, Eye of the World. Akira seems to have some skills that he can't use constantly. After reading about the skill, he finds out that he can adjust the area of sight. Maybe it won't be so bad when he does it, but before he tries out the skill, he notices something else. The unconscious elf is awake. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon and in the city, Asahina Kyosuke, who is a samurai, walks into a completely strange room and starts to destroy the crystals in that room. The samurai isn't conscious of his actions. Could he be under the influence of the king and the princess? Back at the dungeon, the pretty elf is awake again, so Akira rushes to meet her. First things first, he makes sure that she's physically okay, and the elf insists that she's physically fine. The next thing he does is offer her food. After what he assumes was a long time in the slime, she must be feeling very hungry. Just as he predicted, she feels very hungry and takes the food off his hands. What he doesn't predict is that she would run and hide behind the pillar. He wonders whether she's scared of him. Like he's trying to win an animal's trust, he brings another piece of meat to attract her. As she's very hungry, she concedes and comes to collect the food. With the food offering, he feels like a moderated level of trust is now established, so he comes out to ask what she was doing in the slime. The pretty elf says that she doesn't know how she got there, but even if she did, it's not something she would like to talk about. Fair enough. Akira has no problem with that. Akira looks at her again and notices something strange but astonishing. Maybe it's because he activated his Eye of the World skill just as she woke up, but he can see her status panel very clearly. From her status panel, Akira learns that the pretty elf's name is Amelia Rose Quartz of the High Elf race. From what he heard, the High Elves are like elf royalty. But that's not all. She has lots of amazing stats, but one stands out. It's her magic power, which the status panel describes as unmeasured stat. What's that supposed to mean? And as if Akira hadn't gotten enough surprises for the day, he sees that Amelia also has his Eye of the World skill. Extra skills are supposed to be rare. How coincidental is meeting a similar skill user in this location? As she possesses the skill, Amelia can also see Akira's status bar, which tells her all his basic information including his name. She doesn't try to hide it as she calls out his name and asks what he's doing in the dungeon. He answers that he's there to increase his level. After that, an awkward moment of silence ensues. Looking at Amelia again, Akira notices that she has white hair and red eyes. This is unlike most other elves that have blonde hair and blue eyes. Akira tries to break the built-up ice between the pair. He asks Amelia where she plans to go and what she plans to do after now. Maybe she has plans to return to the elven continent. Amelia boldly responds that she plans to stay with Akira. The young man did not expect that response, and he informs her of his plans to return home after completing the dungeon. Amelia looks away and tells Akira that he has no place in the human castle. Akira is taken aback by her response and then asks to know what she meant. She points out that they have the same eyes, so he should understand why he has no place there. Akira feels that she's talking about the Eye of the World skill, but his level might be too low to understand what the elf meant. Amelia replies that he doesn't understand it only because he rejected the eyes. Before he can ask to understand better, she says that she's tired and needs to sleep. Akira has no choice but to agree, but he doesn't stop thinking about what she meant. As Akira goes to sleep, he widens the diameter of his threat detection to include the area around Amelia. Well, someone's being a proper gentleman. Amelia, on the other hand, thinks about the words she just said to Akira. She knows that her words aren't just for Akira. They also apply to her, because she also doesn't have a place to return to. While in her deep, sad thoughts, she feels a gust of warm wind touching her skin on the cold floor. Akira also used his lifestyle magic to make the wind touch her. The lad might just be a kind person, after all. While she still lived in the elven village, nobody cared about her as much as the stranger. Even her little sister rejected her. She recalls looking into Akira's eyes and telling that he's from a different world. She wonders what kind of world Akira comes from, and the kind of people that live there. Meanwhile, at the human castle, Tsukasa brings the humans together and tries to address them about his plans to defeat the Demon Lord, and possibly get them to join him in the battle. Most of them mock him, while others are surprised that he's volunteering to go in such a chaotic situation. It hadn't been so long since Commander Saran got killed by Akira, or at least that's what they think. Tsukasa remains relaxed, knowing that most of their words are because of the curse. The point must be to stop the people from working together. Even at that, their taunts start to get annoying over time. The king and princess are really doing whatever they can to defeat Tsukasa. Tsukasa announces that he doesn't plan to back out. He plans to leave the castle no matter what, even if it means going alone. Just as he's about to leave disappointed, someone from the crowd volunteers to join him. It's the samurai, Asahina Kyosuke. It's like they were waiting for the first person to step forward because 4 other people, including Ueno, immediately indicate interest in fighting the Demon Lord with Tsukasa. Tsukasa informs them that their departure is imminent, whether the king agrees to it or not. He instructs them to disperse, quickly pack their things, and leave the castle before they are stopped. Meanwhile, a guard is spying on them from the walls behind. He doesn't interrupt. He just goes back to report to his master. The new group of warriors, headed by Tsukasa, successfully make their escape. There was no resistance at the gate, which is a bit weird to them. But then, maybe they just got lucky. Tsukasa has to confirm something first. He asks why they chose to come with him. Ueno points out that it could be that all 6 warriors aren't affected by the curse anymore. They don't know how the curse was lifted, but the samurai might know a thing or two. Asahina Kyosuke tells them about the story of finding himself in a room and breaking 6 crystals with his katana. The 6 crystals could represent the 6 warriors who now have their curses broken. Then again, it's just a theory. There are so many unanswered questions, like what prompted his body to break those 6 crystals. They check to see whether the katana is a cursed item, but there's nothing wrong with the weapon. It's a pure white katana that has the name Hakuryu on it. and as they are still close to the city, the brave fighters decide to march on and figure things out later. Meanwhile, the guard that was observing Tsukasa's group now reports to his master. Thankfully, the master is the vice commander and not the king. From his report, it looks like the king isn't aware of Tsukasa's movements yet. The vice commander is relieved because it means that he bought the heroes some time. He just hopes they can take advantage of the extra time. They have to. Tsukasa finds himself approached by one of the 6 heroes, a valiant warrior seeking to understand their comprehensive strategy to vanquish the obstacle that is the Demon Lord. In response, Tsukasa proposes a meticulous and calculated approach, stressing the significance of tackling each challenge methodically and systematically. He emphasizes the need to prioritize their immediate goal of escaping the treacherous forest and venturing far away from the oppressive territory controlled by the tyrannical king. Tsukasa underscores the importance of proceeding with the utmost caution, avoiding reckless actions that could jeopardize their safety or impede their progress. Meanwhile, Asahina Kyosuke takes a sentimental journey down memory lane, reliving the countless memories shared with Akira and Tsukasa over the years. The trio were classmates since kindergarten, but there's always been tension between Tsukasa and Akira. Akira, known for his enigmatic nature, possesses an uncanny ability to vanish into thin air before anyone can lay eyes on him, and this has always come off as unfriendliness or hostility. For one, Kyosuke had noticed that Tsukasa didn't take well to anyone not acknowledging his presence, which is what Akira always seemed to do. Kyosuke vividly recalls an unexpected encounter with Akira while he was toiling away at a construction site. Akira's discomfort was palpable, likely stemming from his surprise that Kyosuke recognized him. The situation carried a touch of irony, since Kyosuke himself had not anticipated Akira would remember him. Nevertheless, their chance meeting led to a heartfelt conversation, with Kyosuke assuring Akira that engaging in part-time jobs did not contravene any school regulations, should Akira have harbored concerns about potential repercussions. As it turned out, Akira's worries lay not in being reported, but rather in concealing his secret side gig from his peers. Their friendship swiftly blossomed as they discovered a shared bond. They both had younger sisters who happened to be close friends. The bond between them went beyond the school premises, and they started spending more and more time together outside of class. However, their peaceful companionship took a sudden turn when they found themselves transported to a strange world. The weight of unjust accusations fell upon Akira, causing Kyosuke's heart to be burdened with sorrow. He deeply regrets his own inability to offer a helping hand when the crowd unjustly labeled Akira as a monster. Ever since their arrival in this unfamiliar realm, Kyosuke has not had a single chance to engage in a conversation with Akira. The regret gnaws at him, knowing that he should have put more effort into establishing a line of communication with his old friend before the unfortunate events unfolded. To make matters worse, Kyosuke ponders the impression he left on Akira by becoming part of the crowd that believed in his guilt as a murderer. He wonders how his actions might have affected their friendship, and whether Akira harbors any resentment towards him. The weight of these thoughts adds to his already heavy heart, deepening his remorse and longing to make amends. Despite the simplicity of their shared bond and the innocence of their connection through their sisters, the circumstances have thrust them into a complex situation. Kyosuke yearns for an opportunity to rectify his past misjudgment and to bridge the emotional distance that has grown between him and Akira since their arrival in this bewildering world. Interrupting Kyosuke's reminiscing, Tsukasa interjects with a voice filled with curiosity, as he eagerly asks about Kyosuke's motivation for embarking on this perilous hero's journey together. Kyosuke, his eyes displaying determination, reveals that his primary objective is to reunite with Akira. This statement elicits an unexpected reaction from Tsukasa, causing a flicker of irritation to momentarily cross his features. Unfazed by Tsukasa's response, Kyosuke continues, suggesting that Akira and Tsukasa share striking similarities. The assertion intensifies Tsukasa's vexation, and the urgency in his desire to conclude the conversation promptly becomes evident. Tsukasa, however, does not hold any animosity towards Akira, despite the undeniable resemblance between the two. Yet despite Tsukasa's subtle cues, Kyosuke remains oblivious, persistently emphasizing the burdens carried by both Akira and Tsukasa. These burdens are of contrasting natures, with one concealed within and the other borne alone, as they both attempt to shoulder the weight of others. Returning to the scene within the labyrinthine dungeon, Amelia and Akira find themselves locked in a desperate battle against a formidable and monstrous foe. Amelia's swift and skillful movements prove instrumental in swiftly dispatching the fearsome creature. She activates her skill, Gravity, and the flying beast is easily pulled to the ground to meet its defeat. Akira, a surge of relief washing over him, witnesses firsthand that Amelia is far from being mere dead weight, as he had initially thought. Taking a moment to catch their breath and recover from the grotesque battle, they share a much-needed meal, momentarily setting aside the horrors that surround them. Before partaking in the nourishing meal, Akira takes a moment to offer a prayer, an ingrained practice from his world. Amelia, curious about this ritual, decides to mimic Akira's gesture, clasping her hands together in a semblance of a prayer and seeking confirmation if she has replicated it correctly. The display of curiosity on Amelia's part piques her interest further, and she embarks on a quest for more insight into Akira's personal life, prompting her to inquire about his family and closest friends. Akira, finding himself in a rare moment of vulnerability, opens up to Amelia, divulging the details of his upbringing. He hails from a single-parent household, his mother and younger sister being the pillars of his life. The absence of his father, who abandoned them when Akira was a mere 10 years old, forced him to assume the responsibilities of a matured adult. It was never part of his father's plan to have a sickly mother and 2 young children to care for. To make ends meet, Akira had to juggle multiple part-time jobs while diligently attending school. Recently, his younger sister volunteered to lend a helping hand, easing the burden on Akira's shoulders and allowing him to spend less time away from home. Now that's a touching and engaging backstory. In turn, Amelia discloses that she too has a younger sister. It seems everyone has a younger sister at this point, one who seems to excel in every aspect of life, from beauty to various skills. Amelia, however, harbors a sense of inadequacy in comparison, perceiving her sister as someone close to perfection. Akira expresses skepticism, believing that spending time with seemingly flawless individuals might not be as enjoyable as it initially seems. He draws parallels to his own relationship with Tsukasa, emphasizing the allure of people with weaknesses and flaws, who refuse to hide behind a facade of perfection. Amidst their conversation, Akira's hunger for rice becomes apparent, eliciting surprise from Amelia. She informs him that rice exists in their current world as well. Akira finds this revelation enthralling, learning that the first hero established a nation called Yamato, closely resembling their original world. The prospect of visiting Yamato ignites a spark of hope within Akira's heart. However, he acknowledges the immediate need to remain focused on his primary objective, increasing his level and seeking vengeance for the fallen commander Saran. Amelia, a steadfast source of encouragement, assures Akira of his incredible strength, already ranking among the most formidable humans in her eyes. Akira acknowledges this fact, recognizing his own power even without relying solely on his formidable Eye of the World skill. Nevertheless, he remains acutely aware that his current strength is insufficient to fulfill his mission and deliver justice for Commander Saran. To attain his goals and overcome the looming challenges, he must strive relentlessly to reach level 100, pushing his limits to become even stronger and unlock his true potential. Motivated by his pursuit of mastery in swordsmanship, Akira previously embarked on a daring quest to conquer a treacherous floor. However, his endeavors proved to be more challenging than anticipated, leaving him grappling with frustration and a sense of stagnation. After expressing his struggle, Amelia, ever the supportive companion, decides to lend him a helping hand. Employing her formidable magic abilities, she skillfully seals Akira's skills, temporarily denying him access to his usual array of talents. In a display of swift and masterful magic creation, she leaves Akira in awe of her unwavering proficiency and speed. Amidst their astonishment, Amelia's acute senses alert her to a looming threat overhead, a formidable monster soaring through the skies. Akira's heart quickens, a mixture of urgency and concern flooding his thoughts as he comprehends the gravity of the situation. The realization that his threat detection and perception skills are now sealed leaves him in a state of uncertainty and vulnerability, his usual means of anticipating danger rendered momentarily inaccessible. Amelia, with her voice filled with unwavering support, encourages Akira to give his best effort. She assures him that she is ready to intervene if needed. However, before he can formulate a detailed plan, the bat-like monster attacks relentlessly. It takes advantage of Akira's weakened state, catching him off guard. Akira finds it difficult to defend himself and struggles to mount a solid defense due to his sealed skills. This puts him at a severe disadvantage against the continuous onslaught. Despite recognizing the creature from a previous encounter, Akira understands that the battle becomes a much greater test without his usual skills to support him. The monster possesses a unique trait that can deceive and confuse its opponent's senses. This makes it an incredibly difficult opponent to track and predict. Akira wrestles with the immense challenge at hand, and his thoughts are filled with the difficulty of the situation. Nevertheless, Amelia remains a steadfast pillar of support. She urges him to persevere and emphasizes the futility of relying solely on his sealed skills and senses. Inspired by Amelia's wise advice, Akira redirects his focus towards his untainted source of power, the mana that courses through his being. Recognizing that honing his ability to sense the flow of mana can empower him both physically and mentally, he sees a glimmer of hope amidst the daunting encounter. With renewed determination, Akira embarks on an exploration of the untapped potential within his mana manipulation skills, opting for an unconventional approach to overcome the predicament before him. Rather than attempting to conceal himself or blend into the shadows, Akira delves into the intricate art of replication, harnessing the intricate threads of his mana to create an astonishingly lifelike clone of himself. As the monstrous bat hurtles towards the mirage, deceived by its authenticity, Akira seizes the golden opportunity, executing a lightning-fast and meticulously precise swordplay maneuver that effortlessly severs the threat's existence. Nice move, Akira. Amelia stands in awe. She is captivated by the brilliance of Akira's unorthodox strategy. Her curiosity is piqued, and she marvels at how he managed to achieve such a remarkable feat. Akira humbly attributes his success to a unique interpretation of Amelia's guidance. He blends his extraordinary mana manipulation skills with his finely honed swordsmanship to triumph over the obstacle. Even though the monster is now dead, the mana cluster that formed the clone remains standing. It is almost like an independent entity. This feat is not only impressive, but also seemingly impossible. Typically, only enchanters with extraordinary magical abilities can create independent mana constructs. However, there is a historical precedent for this skill. It was once demonstrated by the first hero, a legendary figure from the past. Akira and Amelia, driven by their unwavering determination, press on, delving deeper into the treacherous dungeon. Undeterred by the challenges that lie ahead, they persist and eventually find themselves standing on the illustrious 80th floor, marveling at the vast expanse that stretches out before them. The sheer size of this floor surpasses anything they have encountered thus far, overshadowing the previous levels with its breathtaking grandeur and scale, and a really massive stairs that goes upwards seemingly forever. Akira's sharp eyes scan the surroundings, searching intently for any sign, any clue as to the whereabouts of the formidable boss that awaits their confrontation. Curiosity gnaws at his mind, fueling his desire to uncover the hidden secret of this floor. Where could it be hiding? How can they unveil its cunning and elusive presence? And then, as if in response to their yearning for excitement and discovery, a remarkable spectacle unfolds right above them. A magnificent creature takes flight, soaring through the air with a grace that leaves them both awestruck. Akira's gaze is instantly drawn upward, his heart skipping a beat as he beholds the majestic form of a dragon, its wings spread wide against the backdrop of the dungeon's gloomy depths. An instinctive sense of danger surges within him, propelling him into swift action. With a quick tug, he pulls Amelia away from the dragon's potential reach, ensuring her safety. The sight of this awe-inspiring creature fills them with a heady mix of excitement as they come to the realization that they are standing face to face with a true marvel of the mythical realm, a dragon, the epitome of power and legend. Akira's mind races, concocting a plan amidst the chaos and uncertainty that surrounds them. He quickly comprehends that a direct assault on the airborne dragon would be an exercise in futility, a perilous endeavor that could have disastrous consequences. Thinking on his feet, he suggests to Amelia that she taps into her extraordinary mastery of gravity magic, utilizing its force to bring the dragon crashing down to the earth, grounding it in a way that renders its airborne advantage futile. Aware of the potential risks involved, Amelia nods in agreement, her eyes filled with determination and a touch of concern. She urges Akira to exercise utmost caution, mindful of the fact that when the dragon succumbs to the gravitational pull, there's a risk of him being caught in the ensuing chaos and crushed beneath the weight of the fallen creature. With a resolute nod, Amelia taps into her magical prowess, channeling the very forces of nature to exert a compelling pull on the dragon, compelling it to descend from the lofty heights it once commanded. Sensing the opportunity that has presented itself, Akira's heart pounds with adrenaline as he takes flight, soaring through the air like a falcon in pursuit of its prey. The wind rushes past him, making his senses sharper and more focused on one objective only. That objective is to strike a decisive blow against the dragon's strong defenses. He tightly grips his katana with strong determination and concentration. He locates a vulnerable spot and thrusts his blade deep into the back of the dragon's neck, aiming to cause maximum impact. A surge of excitement runs through his veins as he believes he has delivered a crippling blow, one that would prevent the dragon from flying even if Amelia were to use her gravity magic. However, fate has a different plan in store. The dragon, defying everyone's expectations and showing remarkable resilience, forcefully throws Akira off its back, sending him tumbling through the air in a chaotic manner. The ground rapidly approaches and he lands with a loud crash, creating a cloud of dust that swirls in the air. Momentarily disoriented but not discouraged, Akira quickly evaluates his condition, ensuring that he hasn't suffered any serious injuries. Surprisingly, the dragon still stands, albeit visibly weakened from the relentless onslaught it has endured. Akira can't help but express his astonishment, openly admitting that he hadn't anticipated the dragon's survival after his relentless strike to its vulnerable throat. Nevertheless, he takes solace in the belief that his attack has inflicted substantial damage, effectively hampering the dragon's ability to take to the skies once again. Amelia, her eyes reflecting a mixture of concern and awe, echoes Akira's sentiments regarding the dragon's inexplicable resilience. Dragons, renowned for their indomitable strength, should not have succumbed so easily to his blade. The The discrepancy puzzles her, leaving a nagging sense of uncertainty lingering in the depths of her mind. Akira concurs, noting that the dragon feels distinctively dissimilar from the chimera he previously encountered. Even after consulting the mystical Eye of the World to scrutinize its attributes, he couldn't help but find the dragon's stats lacking, an enigma shrouded in mystery. The duo stares in bewilderment as the dragon once again advances with renewed determination. As the dragon advances once again, filled with renewed determination, Akira instinctively positions himself as a shield. He places his own body between the creature and Amelia, shielding her from any potential harm. Flames erupt from the dragon's mouth, forming a scorching inferno that threatens to consume everything in its path. With lightning-fast reflexes, Akira elegantly dodges the searing onslaught. His body moves with a fluid grace, defying the gravity of the situation. Undeterred by the fiery assault, he remains steadfast in his resolve to close the gap between himself and the dragon. He firmly believes that his katana holds the power to overcome any obstacle. While acknowledging Amelia's concerns about the dragon's mysterious strength and the uncertainties that surround it, Akira clings to his unwavering conviction. He believes that as long as his blade proves effective, there exists no reason for him to waver or hesitate in his pursuit of victory. Summoning every ounce of courage residing within him, Akira takes a fearless leap of faith. His agile body propels itself skyward with the grace and elegance of an elegant acrobat. With unwavering precision, he descends upon the dragon's form. His katana finds its mark with pinpoint accuracy, striking the dragon's forehead with a resounding impact. The clash of steel against scales reverberates through the air. Through the epic union of his shadow magic and unyielding resolve, Akira's strength prevails, overpowering the once mighty dragon in a breathtaking display of skill and prowess. The creature, which was earlier dominant and imposing, immediately begins to succumb to the inescapable force of gravity. It descends to the earth in a spectacular display of power rendered impotent. In that moment, something incredible happens. The dragon undergoes a remarkable metamorphosis and becomes an entirely unexpected form, a sleek and elegant black cat. This sight leaves both Akira and Amelia dumbfounded. Their minds struggle to comprehend the inexplicable turn of events. The fearsome dragon has been reduced to a mere feline, defying all logical explanation and challenging their understanding of the world. To their astonishment, the cat opens its mouth and speaks. Its voice carries a mix of bewilderment and grudging admiration as it remarks on its own defeat at the hands of a human whose appearance it had initially dismissed as foolish. In a jesting tone, the cat implies that no human had ever ventured as far as the 80th floor before, and because of that, it decided to toy with them a little bit. Despite their amazement, Akira confronts the cat, feeling stung by its remark about his appearance. However, the cat remains unfazed, displaying a nonchalant attitude that shines through. It dismisses his concern, and it proceeds to deliver a message of utmost importance. Akira is curious about the identity of the person who has a message for him, because aside from his classmates, he cannot think of anyone else who knows him. He then inquires about the sender of the message. This prompts the cat to reveal that the message originates directly from the Demon Lord. Quoting the Demon Lord's message, the cat informs Akira that the Demon Lord eagerly awaits his presence in the deepest recesses of the Demon Castle, located in the Volcano Continent where the demons reside. Meanwhile, in a different corner of the sprawling forest, Tsukasa and the other students successfully navigate their way through the long journey. Finally, they reach the grand country of Yamato. Akira is surprised by the news that the Demon Lord awaits him. He asks the cat about the reasons behind this, but the cat admits that it cannot fully understand the Demon Lord's intentions. It only knows that it has been entrusted with a message. The cat explains that creatures like itself, magical beings, were created by the Demon Lord and serve as its eyes, ears, and limbs. Everything they observe and hear is relayed back to the Demon Lord without exception. Confused, Akira questions the cat if it means that the Demon Lord is the one who created monsters, as he believed it was God who did so. The cat dismisses that belief and vividly recalls the day when the Demon Lord personally created it. Akira reflects on Commander Saran's teachings and expresses doubt about the cat's claim, as Saran had taught him otherwise. However, Akira considers the possibility that the legends and knowledge passed down among humanity may have been false all along. Unexpectedly, the cat requests Akira to end its life. Startled, Akira asks for the reason behind this plea. The cat explains that it has fulfilled its given duty, and now that the transformation spell has been lifted, it sees no value in prolonging its existence. Instead of complying, Akira surprises the cat by embracing it and expressing his unwillingness to harm such a majestic creature with its beautiful silky fur. The cat feels embarrassed and shocked, so it asks Akira to stop. Amelia joins in and tells Akira that it's not fair because she also wants to hug and play with the cat. Despite the cat's repeated pleas to stop, Amelia points out that if the cat really dislikes it so much, why hasn't it run away? The cat explains that it has been pushing its body to the limit to resist Amelia's gravity magic, and it can't stand anymore because Amelia and Akira have already broken many of its bones. Therefore, the cat suggests they should just end its life. However, Akira objects. The cat believes that if Akira spares it, it will become a laughingstock when it returns home. Akira seizes this opportunity and suggests that since the cat can't go home, it should come with them. The cat asks Akira if he understands the implication of what he just said, and Akira confirms that he does. The cat warns Akira that if it stays with him, all of Akira's actions and words will be reported back to the Demon Lord. Akira assures the cat that he is aware of that, but in return, the cat will have a place to belong. Akira also mentions that the Demon Lord will eventually gather information about them, and for him, he will learn more about Morrigan and get to play with the cat every day. The cat is speechless and admits that it can't comprehend how the human brain functions. Amelia reminds the cat that regardless, they won the fight, which means they have the right to his life. Therefore, the cat shouldn't object anymore. The cat agrees to join them but warns them not to regret their decision later. Akira laughs and points out that the cat talks confidently despite being unable to move. Later, Akira tries to find an exit on the dungeon floor but fails. He remembers that, unlike this one, every time he defeats a monster, a door or staircase appears on the next floor. The cat explains that there's no exit because the dungeon refuses to let the boss of the floor stay alive. The dungeon created by the Demon Lord has its own will to prevent any monsters from escaping. The cat asks Akira what his next move will be, whether he will change his mind and kill it. The cat clarifies that not only the exit but also the entrance will remain closed until it dies. They are at risk of starving to death if they continue this way. However, Akira tells the cat that even if killing it would make things easier, he still chose to bring it along. Amelia adds that it's too early to give up. Akira asks if Amelia has found a way for them to escape, and she says yes, but suggests that they must give the cat a name first. Akira is confused about why Amelia wants to name the cat. However, the cat figures out that Amelia wants Akira to make a pact with it, where they become master and servant. Akira doesn't really understand what a pact is, so Amelia explains that it's a contract that binds the soul of a human and a monster. She adds that usually only the demon folks could control monsters, but there are some humans who have a strong connection to monsters. The first hero made this connection through a ritual called a pact. The cat realizes that Amelia wants Akira to become its new master so as to relieve it of its duty as the boss monster of the floor. Amelia confirms this and believes that since Akira can control his mana like the first hero, he can probably do it too. However, the cat warns them that the pact won't happen unless both the person granting the name and the person receiving the name agree to it. Once the pact is established, it will last until both of them die, unless they both decide to end it. They will always know each other's location and can communicate through telepathy, and if one of them dies, the other will also die soon after. And as soon as one of them passes away, the other will quickly follow. Akira tries to understand what he just heard. However, the cat interrupts his thoughts and mentions that most ordinary humans would hesitate after learning about both of them dying. The cat also talks about the strange mana it detects from Akira and claims to sense it just by being close to him. Then it asks Akira if he is human. Akira responds that he is not entirely certain anymore and wonders if he has already entered the realm of monsters. This surprises the cat, and it wonders if regular people would describe themselves in the same manner. Giving up on trying to comprehend Akira, the cat states that regardless of the situation, it is more convenient for it to remain that way as it can't face the Dark Lord again after losing to a human child. The cat extends its paws towards Akira and Akira takes hold of it. Akira then informs the cat that he is Oda Akira, who will become its master and give it a name. In return, the cat pledges to always be by his side, no matter where he is, and promises to stay together until death separates them. Akira proceeds to name the cat Yoru, inspired by its fur resembling a beautiful night sky. Yoru appreciates the name and expresses that it is a good choice. It accepts the name and once again swears to serve Akira until the end of its life. Akira and Amelia warmly welcome Yoru to their team. Telepathy is a special ability that allows two individuals to communicate with each other using their minds instead of using spoken words from their mouths. Amelia, with keen observation, notices a distant crest adorning the back of Akira's hand. Immediately, she remarks that the mark bears a striking resemblance to the one present on Yoru's forehead. Yoru, utilizing the power of telepathy, proceeds to enlighten Akira by explaining that the crest on his hand serves as a piece of evidence that shows that their souls are now connected. This pact enables them to communicate mentally. Out of curiosity, Akira asks Yoru whether its connection with the Demon Lord is still present now that he is Yoru's partner. Yoru confirms that its connection with the Demon Lord will always remain intact. Akira then ponders whether his new pact with Yoru might provoke the Demon Lord. Reassuringly, Yoru tells him that the Demon Lord wouldn't mind, suggesting that Akira should regard himself as its second master. Despite his lingering doubts, Akira seeks confirmation of this arrangement, to which Yoru responds with unwavering confidence and encouragement. Meanwhile, amidst their conversation, a sudden and radiant circle materializes, capturing Amelia's attention and prompting her to inform them about this peculiar occurrence. Yoru tells Amelia that her plan worked, because with it now under Akira's control, the dungeon doesn't recognize it as a boss monster again, and the way to the next level has finally revealed itself. Akira notices a difference in the exit on the current floor compared to the previous ones. Instead of a staircase or a door, there is a glowing circle. Amelia explains to Akira that this circle is a magical portal that can transport anyone who enters it to their desired location. Curious, Akira asks Amelia what would happen if multiple people enter the circle at the same time. Amelia clarifies that the circle will choose only one person's destination, and everyone will be transported there. Suddenly, Akira realizes that the magic circle resembles the one that appeared in his classroom. He ponders whether this particular circle is the same one, and wonders if someone in his classroom wanted to come to this parallel universe. Akira believes it's possible because many of his classmates were unsatisfied with their daily lives and might have fantasized about escaping to another world. Amelia interrupts Akira's thoughts by mentioning that she's hungry. Meanwhile, Akira's classmates who ventured into the country of Yamato are having a great time, enjoying various Japanese foods similar to what they ate in their own world. It seems like they took a good bath and changed their clothes. Tsukasa asks Asahina and Suda if they can meet up later after they finish eating. He explains that he's looking for a book in Yamato. The other students look confused, so he assures them that he's not asking them to buy it. He says there's a lot they don't know about Morrigan, and if they hadn't met a kind merchant in the forest who guided them, they would have been lost. Asahina agrees with Tsukasa and realizes they were foolish for not suspecting anything when they are forbidden from entering the castle library. Tsukasa adds that they don't have many expenses in this new world, and they need to learn how life works in Morrigan. Asahina tells him that if he plans on leaving the city, he'd like to search for the book together because it's easier to team up in this new world. Tsukasa contemplates silently, expressing his desire to team up with Akira. However, he acknowledges that Asahina might disapprove of what he's about to do. But nevertheless, once their preparations are complete, his plan is to venture towards the continent where the Demon Lord resides without Akira. Tsukasa asserts that he, not Akira, is the true hero and therefore, he won't wait for Akira or follow in his footsteps. His primary objective is to swiftly defeat the Demon Lord, with the role of ensuring everyone's safe return to their original world. In the midst of their discussion, Tsukasa proposes that if the three boys leave the city, they should first return to Hatagoya, as their washed clothes would have dried by then. Tsukasa suggests that they visit the harbor together. Tsukasa further suggests that after their meal, they should form their own group. As Tsukasa slurps a spoonful of ramen, he ponders whether Akira is eating properly and wishes for his strength. Meanwhile, in the dungeon, Akira and Amelia share a meal. Akira informs Amelia that the absence of a staircase and the appearance of a magic circle indicate that the 80th floor is the final level of the labyrinth. Yoru pretends not to understand what Akira is talking about. However, Akira reminds Yoru that he used to be the boss of this place and should have some knowledge. Yoru explains that everything depends on the labyrinth's will, but if they pass through the circle, they will be transported to their desired location. Akira mentions having a strange feeling about the 80th floor and believes they have explored most of the labyrinth, but they haven't reached the level 100 area yet. He urges them to continue their journey until they find it. Yoru is surprised and asks if Akira is aiming to reach level 100 in the labyrinth. Akira responds, revealing that it was Commander Saran's last wish. This revelation shocks Yoru, who clarifies if they are talking about Saran Misray. Akira confirms and asks if Yoru knows Commander Saran. Yoru explains that they knew him a long time ago and wonders if Saran, who was at the main temple, came to the labyrinth. Akira confirms this and Yoru asks if Saran is dead. Akira reveals that he was murdered. Motivated by revenge, Akira expresses his desire to seek justice against those who killed Saran. Unbeknownst to Akira, his desire for revenge awakens a surge of intense bloodlust and the formidable intimidation skill. This sudden transformation affects Amelia, causing her to struggle for breath. In distress, she calls out to Akira, informing him that he is causing her pain. Upon hearing her plea, he swiftly regains control over his emotions and diminishes the overwhelming bloodlust. Yoru reflects on how Akira's bloodlust had nearly made him seem devoid of his humanity. Yoru acknowledges the strength of the main castle, but clarifies to them that the challenges they encountered within the labyrinth are contrary to what they expected. It adds that, in some cases where their blades, which are meant to be so durable, but end up being shattered instead, are mainly because of the nature of the dungeon. Yoru warns Akira that relying solely on sword techniques would place him in a perilous situation within the labyrinth, which teems with formidable physical monsters. Furthermore, Yoru emphasizes that if conventional blades prove ineffective, Akira can easily triumph over the monsters by utilizing magic. Yoru advises him that if he proceeds through the labyrinth's entrance wielding only a sword, without tapping into his magical abilities deep within, his chances of victory would be nearly impossible. Realizing this, Akira deduces that training solely with a sword throughout the entire labyrinth would elevate the difficulty level to what can be deemed as hard mode. Amelia inquires if all labyrinths are similar to the one they are currently in. Yoru clarifies that each labyrinth possesses unique characteristics. To illustrate, Yoru mentions the labyrinth located in the Elf Forest, which stands in stark contrast to the current one. In that labyrinth, magic skills are mostly ineffective against the boss monsters there. Amelia expresses surprise at this revelation. Akira ponders for a moment and realizes that there might be other labyrinths on different continents as well. He understands that if their goal is to reach the 100th floor, they may need to explore a labyrinth on another continent. With their decisions made, they prepare to move forward. Yoru astounds them by shrinking down to a size of a normal house cat and leaping onto Akira's shoulders. As Akira approaches the entrance, he contemplates the possibility of returning to his original world where his mother and sister are likely waiting for him. However, he changes his mind and acknowledges that there are still important tasks he must complete before considering going back. Amelia is filled with worry about Akira's sudden emotional state, but her concerns are put at ease when he apologizes and reassures her that he is completely fine. Gathering their courage, they all gather together and step into the mesmerizing glowing circle. In an instant, a radiant light surrounds them, and within a few brief moments, they mysteriously disappear from sight. Years ago, Amelia and her younger sister, Kirika, stumbled upon a hidden room filled with old books and interesting objects. The store was tucked away in a forgotten part of their castle, with dusty shelves and creaky floors. Amelia and Kirika sneaked into the store, excited and mischievous, knowing they were breaking the rules. Kirika discovered something intriguing and called out to Amelia in excitement. In their enthusiasm, they both made some noise, but Kirika quickly shushed Amelia, fearing their father would catch them. Kirika showed Amelia an old book she found among the stacks. Inside, they found a beautiful image of two girls who looked similar. One had white hair and red eyes, while the other had golden hair and green eyes. The girls were captivated by the picture, and Kirika guessed that the girls in the picture were royalty. And Amelia also deduced that the girls were twins, just like herself and Kirika, because of their striking resemblance. Kirika then spotted some strange writing over the image of the girl with white hair and red pupils, and she wonders what was exactly written under the girls' photos. She also noted that the girl in the photo with white hair had a striking resemblance to Amelia. Suddenly, a mysterious figure wearing a cloak entered the room through the open door. With a mysterious smile, the cloaked man approached them, both intimidating and intriguing. He asked them if they would love to know the meaning of the words in the image. The girls were startled, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. Kirika questioned the stranger's identity, while the carefree Amelia eagerly pleaded for the stranger to reveal what the words on the page meant. Finally, unable to contain the suspense any longer, the man leaned in and revealed to them that the meaning of the word written on the image is atonement. Back in the present, the glowing circle successfully transports Akira and Amelia outside the dungeon and into a forest, which surprises them both. Amelia quickly realizes the familiar surroundings and is shocked to discover that they have been transported to the elf country. She wonders why they ended up here instead of somewhere else, as all she wanted was to go somewhere with Akira, not this particular place. Yoru notices the sacred tree of the elves and informs Akira that they are now in the elf territory. Confused, Akira turns to Amelia for confirmation, asking if they have truly returned to her homeland. However, Amelia, already frightened, ignores Akira and begins mumbling about the dire consequences of being in that specific location. Suddenly, an arrow swiftly flies through the air, narrowly missing Amelia. Fortunately, Akira reacts in time, pulling her out of harm's way. Recognizing the signature style of the arrow, Amelia realizes who the attacker is. Spotting the shooter hiding in the bushes at a safe distance, Akira disregards Amelia's pleas to return and decides to confront the assailant. The attacker attempts to shoot another arrow, but before he can do so, Akira swiftly appears behind them, holding a dagger to his neck. Akira warns him and firmly states that if he dares to make a move, he won't hesitate to slit his throat. Amelia finally catches up to them and recollects that the assailant goes by the name of Liam Gladiolus, a member of an elite noble family. Liam dismissively scoffs at her and remarks how surprised he is to encounter the princess, as he was amid an exploration when he stumbled upon a radiant circle, only to find Amelia appearing before him. He accuses her of shamelessly abandoning her own country. Amelia attempts to explain, asserting that she did not abandon the country. However, Liam interrupts her and accuses her of running away. He questions whether she believes it was for the best that she vanished, but then dismisses the matter, saying that it doesn't matter now. According to him, there is no longer a place for her in the elf territory because her sister is there to take care of them. Liam refers to Amelia as an atonement princess and informs her that her sister Kirika will arrive soon, emphasizing that escape will be impossible for them. Akira, who was starting to grow annoyed with Liam's rambling, swiftly uses the hilt of his dagger to strike Liam's head, causing him to lose consciousness. He instructs Yoru to enlarge himself so that they can mount it and flee, while also using Liam as a hostage. Yoru increases in size, and Akira notices Amelia's hesitance to climb aboard. Yet he pulls her up anyway, and Yoru immediately begins to accelerate at full speed. Amelia warns Akira that there are elves in the forest, so escaping would be impossible because they would chase them. In response, he assured her that if she could lead them to a more spacious area, he would somehow manage to wield his katana amidst the dense trees. She expresses her understanding and takes the lead, directing them to a secure location beyond the forest. After a while, they successfully emerge from the dense forest into an open field, encircled by the forest trees. Akira feels a sense of relief, as they have finally managed to escape just as Amelia had predicted. However, Amelia grasped Akira's arm and alerted him that rather than escaping, they have unknowingly become surrounded. While being relentlessly cornered with no visible openings, a countless multitude of bloodthirsty elf warriors surround them. The elf archers encircle their targets, employing a double pincer ambush strategy. To protect Amelia from harm, Akira instructs her to remain mounted on Yoru. Akira then requests a favor from Yoru, who had already anticipated what Akira needs, and assures him to leave it in his capable hands. Upon seeing how Akira has captured Liam, the elf archers get provoked and begin to ask how he dare treats Liam that way. They warn Akira that his life is at stake if he does not release Liam that instant. In an attempt to negotiate, Akira proposes that if he releases Liam unharmed, they should allow both him and Amelia to pass. Princess Kirika Rosequartz, Amelia's twin sister, finally reveals her presence, asserting that such negotiations cannot take place. She reveals that they have been relentlessly pursued and concealed, but now she is caught up with them criminals, and she isn't going to allow them to just leisurely escape like that. Akira queries her about the accusations of them being labeled as criminals, and questions whether Amelia, as a princess of the country, is exempt from such classification. Kirika replied haughtily, asserting that he does not know whatsoever about what is going on in the kingdom. Furthermore, she proceeded to lower her sleeve, revealing a particularly unpleasant scar. Kirika explained to Akira that this scar was the result of a wound inflicted by Amelia's deception using a potion. Witnessing Kirika's distress, some empathetic elves expressed their sympathy towards her. Kirika continued her argument, emphasizing that those who harm the royal family should be categorized as criminals, and this principle applies even when the harm is caused by a sibling from the same royal lineage. Moreover, she claimed that Amelia deliberately injured her with malicious intentions. In response, Amelia objected, denying Kirika's allegations. She clarified that while she did provide Kirika with the potion, it had been tampered with and replaced with poison by an unknown person. Kirika challenged Amelia, demanding evidence to support her claims and questioning whether Amelia was accusing her of fabricating the incident. Kirika then scoffs, dismissing any further argument and proclaiming that Amelia's mere existence alone was a calamity for the country due to her status as an unwanted child. Kirika stands in front of Akira and questions whether he is the individual responsible for bringing the criminal back to the elf country. Expressing her gratitude, she mentions that she needs to thank him for returning her safely. Suddenly, Kirika focuses her gaze on Akira and activates her mesmerization skill. Amelia desperately attempts to warn Akira against making eye contact, but her warning came too late as the skill had already been triggered. Mesmerization is a skill that allows its user to gain complete control of another person's mind and emotions through eye contact. Kirika berates Amelia for being too late and claims that Akira's heart already belongs to her. She also says that Amelia no longer has anyone on her side. Amelia becomes furious and tells her that it is not true, and further tells her to apologize to Akira. She explains that Akira's heart is her property, and Kirika shouldn't try to claim it as hers. Kirika becomes irritated by Amelia's attitude and says that the attitude she is putting up now is making her angry, because until that moment, she's been trembling with fear. Kirika refuses to do as Amelia says and justifies her actions by asking what's wrong with using her abilities. She mentions that it is unfortunate for others because the moment she uses mesmerization, nobody can escape, and Akira now belongs to her. Akira responds and asks when he became someone else's possession. Kirika is surprised by Akira's words, while Amelia is happy to hear him speak up. A surprised and confused Kirika wonders why her mesmerization isn't effective. She considers the possibility that Akira might be stronger than her but refuses to believe it. She asserts that she is stronger than him because she is a gold-ranked adventurer. Akira is moved by the revelation that Kirika is a gold-ranked individual. Akira says he has read about it in a royal book collection and that there are only 4 gold-ranked adventurers in the world. It is also the highest rank for an adventurer. Kirika tries to make sure she's one of those 4, but she ignores him and calls him names, saying that idiotic lowlives like Akira don't know their place. She decides that she is going to teach him a lesson by cutting him down with her sword. She asks if his name is really Akira and then unsheaths her sword, and proposes that they have a duel. She tells him that if he loses, he will realize how foolish he has been and also give up on chasing after Amelia. Kirika finds the situation interesting and proposes that if he wins, she will promise not to pursue the three of them anymore. Kirika asks Akira if he believes that he can defeat her. Amelia tries to warn Akira not to do it, but he assures her that everything will be fine and that because Kirika is her younger sister, he won't use his sword, Yata Konkanmi. Kirika notices that Akira is preparing to fight without unsheathing his sword and asks him if he doesn't intend to kill her. She calls him names again and says that she's speechless. Akira tries to clarify from Kirika if the elves in the surrounding trees are just watching and won't interfere in the fight. Kirika agrees and tells him to come at her because she's ready to kill him. As she prepares for a crucial duel, what she couldn't foresee is how swiftly the match would end. At the exact moment the duel commenced, Akira unleashed a mind-boggling combination of speed and strength, leaving Kirika astounded and bewildered. Kirika barely has time to comprehend the situation before she feels an invisible force strike her. The impact is so sudden and forceful that she doesn't even have the chance to finish blinking. In a bewildering instant, she finds herself involuntarily soaring through the air, propelled by the sheer power of Akira's attack, causing her to crash down with an agonizing thud. Not only is Kirika left dazed and disoriented, but the spectating elves who have eagerly gathered to witness this intense confrontation are equally taken aback by the unforeseen turn of events. The rapid sequence of Akira's movements has left everyone in a state of disbelief and uncertainty, unsure of what has just transpired in front of their eyes. While Kirika groans and lies sprawled on the floor, Akira confidently claims his victory and asks if she's okay with it. Without waiting for a response, he pulls Liam away from Yoru and drops him on the ground. He then picks up Amelia and places her on top of Yoru. Climbing on top of Yoru himself, Akira quickly takes off, telling Kirika to keep her promise and not pursue them any further. Kirika, unwilling to accept defeat, orders her allies to prepare their bows. Akira notices the unfolding situation and protests that it wasn't part of their agreement. The watching elves believe that Akira couldn't have won fair and square, accusing him of using underhand tactics. They begin shooting arrows from all directions, but Akira promptly employs his shadow magic as a shield, shattering the arrows in the process. The elves are shocked to see Akira's shadow magic neutralize their arrows. Kirika is bewildered and says she has never seen such magic that is capable of slaughtering so many people at once. She then realizes that this extraordinary magic might be an extra skill he possesses. Suddenly, the Elven King appears on the scene, visibly angry, and demands an explanation for what is happening. Kirika stands frozen in shock and fear as her father's sudden arrival catches her completely off guard. Her eyes widen and her body tenses, clearly dumbstruck by his unexpected presence. Slowly, she manages to gather her words, her voice faltering as she stammers out a question, desperately trying to comprehend why he is here. After all, she believed he had urgent matters to attend to in a distant and secluded region. The king, his expression serious and stern, responds with a grave tone. He explains that an unforeseen situation has arisen, necessitating his return to the palace. He looks at her intently, awaiting an explanation for the events that had unfolded in his absence. Overwhelmed and unable to find a coherent response, she continues to stumble over her words, her speech fragmented by her nervousness. The king, having observed the situation from afar, discloses that he had witnessed Kirika challenging Akira to a duel, only to be swiftly defeated by a single strike. The weight of embarrassment settles heavily upon Kirika, rendering her incapable of uttering a word in her defense. The king, his voice laced with authority, continues to recount the outcome of the duel, which Kirika had not anticipated. To make matters worse, he discloses that the troops, seizing the opportunity, launched an unexpected attack from behind. The king's words strike Kirika with a mix of shame and bewilderment, her face flushed with humiliation. In a final admonishment, the king asserts that such audacious actions are wholly unacceptable for a proud royal family. With her spirit crushed by her father's disapproval, Kirika remains silent, her voice trapped by the weight of her actions. The gravity of the situation hangs in the air, as the king's words emphasize the magnitude of Kirika's transgressions, leaving her to confront the consequences of her ill-advised challenge. He says he is going to ask her another question, and then he asks her what she is trying to do with her sister Amelia. Kirika angrily denies that Amelia is her sister. In response, her father delivers a heavy slap to her face. The rest of the troops try to persuade the king not to be angry with Kirika, explaining that Amelia treated Kirika horribly. The king becomes even more disappointed when he realizes that Amelia had even used mesmerization on the soldiers. He orders Amelia to disable it immediately and expresses his disappointment with her actions. The king then approaches Amelia and apologizes for not keeping a close eye on her. However, he asks her if leaving the country with Akira is truly what she desires. Amelia is unable to find the right answer for her father, so she decides to remain silent. The king tells her that she must not leave because she has duties to fulfill as royalty. He acknowledges that her freedom was staked on the duel that Kirika lost, but he has to retract the promise that was made. he proposes a new idea, stating that he wants Akira to duel once again, and if Akira wins, he will acknowledge him as the king. Akira is shocked and asks the king if he wants to battle with him, but the king responds that Kirika will be the one facing him once again. Kirika questions the king and the need to engage in another battle, considering her previous defeat. The king responds by explaining that during the previous match, Kirika underestimated her opponent, Akira. He points out that her carelessness and overestimation of her abilities led to her loss. However, he assures her that she is the strongest elf swordsman and proposes that she fights on his behalf. Kirika agrees to accept the challenge. The king then turns to Akira and reveals that initially, he was considered a trespasser who had entered their country. Whether Akira would be released or deemed a trespasser would depend on the strength he demonstrates in the upcoming battle. After stating his intentions to return to the palace, the king commands everyone to follow him. Akira privately thinks that the Elf King is a thorn in his side, but he recognizes the rationale behind his actions. Meanwhile, Amelia feels disheartened and murmurs to herself that her father truly doesn't love her. Akira is taken aback by her words, but Amelia explains that she feels this way because her father granted Kirika a chance for a rematch, while disregarding her wishes and desires. Amelia, with a crestfallen expression on her face, adds that her father always seems to take Kirika's side in every situation. Akira, wanting to console her, tries to explain that he believes it's because Kirika is naive and innocent. However, before he can finish his sentence, Amelia abruptly interrupts him. She passionately asserts that the reason her father favors Kirika is that she feels like an unwanted child, unloved and undesired by her parents. She tearfully reveals that she believes her existence is a mistake, and that her father and mother never wanted her to be born. After a while, their journey brings them to the grand palace of the elf country. Akira is awestruck by the palace's immense size and the beauty of its interior. The spaciousness of the palace leaves him amazed, and he can't help but admire its lovely interior. Noticing Akira's fascination, Amelia points out that all the members of the ministerial staff, the nobles, and the servants seems to be under Kirika's powerful influence, as it appears that they are still mesmerized by her. Suddenly, the king of the elf country makes a grand entrance and addresses the assembled crowd. He announces that the match between Kirika and Akira will take place right before his eyes, indicating the significance of this event. The audience, who are seemingly under Kirika's mesmerizing spell, starts chanting and cheering in support of her. Their voices rise in unison, creating an atmosphere filled with fervent excitement and anticipation. Akira approaches Kirika and directly confronts her. He reminds her that it was the king himself who had ordered her to dispel the mesmerization. However, Kirika pretends to be ignorant about what he is talking about and retorts back at Akira, asking him what he's trying to say. Observing that Akira has yet to unsheath his katana, she wonders why he still hasn't drawn his blade. In response, Akira calmly explains that he would continue to use the katana without unsheathing it, and assures her that he has no intention of using the blades on her. Unfazed by Akira's words, Kirika tells him to do as he pleases, expressing her determination to go all out in their upcoming confrontation. The tension rises as the king declares the beginning of the match. Without wasting a single moment, Kirika launches her attack, swiftly aiming her sword toward Akira. In a surprising turn of events, her strike manages to leave a noticeable scratch on his face. Acknowledging Kirika's display of talent, Akira concedes that she possesses formidable swordsmanship talents. Feeling the gravity of the situation, he decides that it is time to take their battle seriously. With a resolute expression, he informs Kirika that he is now fully prepared to settle their conflict once and for all. Princess Kirika cannot help but admire Akira, and it's not just his fighting skills. She has to ask him why he's willingly accepting a duel with her for a second time. Is Amelia really worth the prize? She concludes that Akira must love Amelia a lot to willingly throw his life away. It's a good thing he's the only one in the palace that shares those sentiments. None of the rest really care for her older sister. The chit-chat in the middle of the battle is nice, but Princess Kirika is now ready to continue the battle. She delivers another blow, this time using wind application magic. The sword strike comes with heavy wind, and the young warrior can barely avoid her new strike. No wonder she's a revered swordsman in the Elfland. Akira finds it hard to believe that the princess was truly holding back all that power. As he sees how seriously Princess Kirika is fighting, Akira decides to put a lot more effort into the fight himself. The young warrior activates the Shadow Cloak skill, a powerful skill that almost has a mind of its own. And from then on, it's a feast of swords clashing and bodies weaving. Princess Kirika, like the wind she controls, skillfully strikes her sword at Akira multiple times. The warrior can dodge the blows with the skills, however difficult it proves to be. At some point, the balance of the battle shifts and Akira starts sending one or two strikes of his own. Princess Kirika, being a skilled and focused warrior, blocks the raining blows with her sword. The battle is a real visual spectacle, and none of them seems to have the upper hand. The ones that watch the battle are also intrigued. The king, Amelia, and Yoru observe keenly as the princess and Akira keep going at each other non-stop. Back to the fight, which is too entertaining to blink, Akira decides to try combining his physical efforts with emotional battles. He teases Princess Kirika and says she looks like she could cry at any moment. Fair enough, the game is the game. The princess isn't fazed one bit. She fights wildly like she's been longing for this fight all her life, and she's not really crying. Surprisingly, she fights with a smile on her face like she's enjoying it. Akira comes out to ask her squarely whether she truly hates her older twin. Princess Kirika doesn't say that she hates her, but she admits that she's determined to hate Amelia. What does that even mean? Akira takes a wild guess and concludes that Princess Kirika hates Amelia for being an unwanted child. Oh, someone is clutching at straws now. The princess shakes her head at Akira's ignorance. The boy is just all strength and no intelligence, isn't he? The story of being an unwanted child, according to Princess Kirika, is nothing but an old superstition. Well, the truth is that a long time ago, one of the twins used to be murdered. But since the elves find it difficult to give birth to a child that lives long, the custom of killing valuable children was abolished way back in Kirika's grandfather's generation. The short story provides a fresh perspective for Akira, but it still doesn't explain why Princess Kirika still constantly criticizes Amelia for being an unwanted child. Even though she knows that it hurts a lot, it sounds like a big reveal is coming up. Princess Kirika confesses that it's easy to criticize Amelia because she looks nothing like both of their parents. Making her feel like an outcast has never been too difficult. But, ironically, Princess Amelia is anything but an outcast. To be precise, Amelia was born as a part of the legendary profession, Miko. Miko is a shrine maiden and is a profession that says that you're loved by God. As someone who has this, the world will change in your favor once you want something. Being a twin sister to someone as pretty as Amelia is already hard enough, but when she is born as a Miko, that just does it. So that's the source of Kirika's pain. She was born as an inferior twin and didn't want it to stay that way. Now, who said gods don't make mistakes again? Princess Kirika continues to tell her sorrowful tale. As her twin sister, Amelia was born a Miko. She always received the love of the people and the gods. Showering love on one child sounds like a good idea, but when it comes at the cost of another child, especially a twin, you might want to rethink that. The princess moans about the consequences of her existence as Amelia's twin. With her silver hair and beautiful eyes, Amelia always gets people's love, gifts, attention, and everything Princess Kirika wants. Kirika cannot help but wish that the order of birth was reversed, and she was the older twin. This way, maybe she would be born the Miko and wouldn't need to do everything she had done so far, including being wicked to Amelia. It sounds like Princess Kirika really likes her twin sister, but she let jealousy consume her. Oh well, every villain has a pitiable backstory. Akira has patiently listened up to this point. The young warrior lets the motion of his sword calm a little bit. One would think that the battle is coming to an end. A classic story of an innocent person who lost her way and became a villain talks her way out of it. Well, if that's what you expected, you're in for a shocker. Princess Kirika looks at Akira and Amelia, and all she can see are two people who have no idea what she feels. She feels even more rage than she did before the fight. She draws her sword again and strikes a blow at Akira. Akira cannot dodge in time because of how distracted he is. All he does is use his arm to stop the sword from critically hurting him. The princess's sword sinks deep into his flesh, and she now has the upper hand in the battle. Princess Kirika is seething with rage and ready to take advantage of Akira's wounded arm. As she takes a step towards victory, she is stopped in her tracks by a call from a familiar voice. The voice is from Liam, the young man that Princess Kirika is close to. Liam calls out to the princess and pleads with her to stop what she's doing. After all, she will only end up hurting herself. Princess Kirika is surprised that Liam just talked to her in the manner that he did. Well, Liam doesn't stop there. He approaches Amelia, kneels respectfully in front of her, and asks her to forgive him and Princess Kirika for how impolite they have been. Akira is as confused as the others are. According to Amelia, everyone inside the palace was under Kirika's mesmerization. Did Princess Kirika snap him out of it? Did he snap himself out of it? How did he suddenly get himself? At this moment, Princess Kirika feels more disappointed than she is angry. Even though others in the kingdom put all their focus on Amelia, Liam always seemed to acknowledge her efforts and care for her. She remembers how Liam used to invite her to train with their swords. He always commended her determination and never failed to point it out when she was improving. Even with all that, has Liam's allegiance always been to Amelia? This latest act from Liam completely pushes Princess Kirika to the other side, the dark side. She lets go of every bit of feeling she has for both Amelia and Kirika. These ones have to die. Since both her targets are within the same radius, the princess sends her most powerful wind strike with her sword. Akira isn't close enough to stop it, and even if he were, he's already badly hurt. Princess Kirika's wind strike is powerful enough to send an already hurt Akira to the ground. Imagine what it would do to the people it was sent to. Amelia and Liam stare in the face of death, unable to stop the attack. The princess surely has them right where she wants. What Princess Kirika didn't account for is the one member of the group that one would expect to stop such a strong attack. It's the black cat, Yoru, who shows his bravery in the face of danger. From Amelia's point of view, she sees her cat spring up from her hands and towards the direction of the attack. "Hey, Yoru, safety is that way." She tries to call him back, but the cat looks sure of what he's doing. Yoru tells him to take cover while he does his thing, and then he just starts to increase his size. Black Cat has turned Big Cat. He jumps directly into the wind, but instead of being overwhelmed by its powerful presence, he starts to control and even push it back. Princess Kirika notices the cat and is surprised. Kitty's got moves, not bad. But at this point, her rage is like a fast-moving train that's difficult to stop. With her rage, she adds more power to her attack, and her advantage is restored. The wind pushes Yoru back a little, but the Black Cat isn't about to give up. After what seems like decades of pushing each other, Yoru finally deflects the strike to the ceiling. The unexpected change in momentum sends Kirika sprawling to the ground and knocks her out cold. Liam has just the solution that everyone in the palace needs. It's a plant that the king recognizes as the Holy Branch. According to him, the Holy Branch contains purification magic. So Liam hands the branch over to Amelia to work her literal magic. Amelia raises the branch and uses her skill, and after some time, the air starts to clear up and people's eyes start to open. The purification magic wakes Princess Kirika up, but it also dispels her mesmerization magic from the crowd gathered in the palace. Everyone gathered in the crowd is surprised at what they are doing in the king's palace. They don't remember how they got to that location, but they recognize that it is the king's palace. So, out of respect for the Elf King, there is very little commotion amongst the people. The other party that was healed with the branch, Princess Kirika, sees that her magic is gone. She lets her sword fall and then sinks to the ground in despair. Akira comes up behind her, with the sword in hand for safety reasons. He lets her know that it's over and she is lost, but she already knew that. The princess, still on the ground, bows her head and lets a tear escape from her eyes. A single teardrop falls, and then two. In a few seconds, Princess Kirika starts to weep uncontrollably, asking where exactly she went wrong with her plan. I have a comprehensive list, princess." Princess Kirika continues to lament her misfortune. She talks about how she came to like Liam after he was the only one to continuously acknowledge her efforts. She liked him and also wanted him to like her. Everything was going well with Liam, but then he was chosen as a candidate to be her twin sister's fiancé. Akira's ears stand immediately when he hears that Liam is Amelia's fiancé. Calm down, young man. The story is yet to be over. Princess Kirika continues with her lamentation. She talks about how she liked Liam too much and couldn't stand him being stolen from her. So she decided to use her mesmerization skill for the first time, long before any of this happened. Liam was mesmerized and completely lost his mind. To the Elf King's shock, the young man became obsessed with the wrong daughter. Eventually, Princess Kirika got her way and got married to Liam Gladius, her dream man. Seeing how she got her way through her mesmerizing skill, Princess Kirika began to explore other uses of the skill. One by one, she started to mesmerize everyone in the castle, bending them to her will. This way, she could shift their loyalty from Amelia to herself, and pull strings wherever and however she wanted to. According to the princess, all she wanted was to take back everything that her twin sister had stolen from her. In all of this, Princess Kirika still fails to see where she went wrong. She insists that she did the right thing from her perspective. Princess Kirika's story is interrupted by a voice that comes with authority. It's her father, the king, and he looks his daughter in the eyes and tells her that she's wrong. The man says audible words, but no one understands what he's talking about. The king makes it clear. When Kirika said that Amelia stole everything from her, she was totally wrong. The princess hisses. Even now that the end is near, her father still doesn't fail to show his bias for his first daughter. The favoritism has always been there, and will probably always be there. The Elf King looks at his daughter with eyes of pain. He knows she has gone through a lot and understands the choices she made. However, he insists that Princess Amelia did not steal anything from her twin sister. He holds Kirika's head in his hand and tells his daughter that he has a confession to make. Another twist? Well, I'm certainly up for it. The Elf King promises his daughter that he has always loved her from when she was a baby up till now. But then, there's something that happened when she was a little child. He stole one of Kirika's memories. So in the end, the one who stole from the princess wasn't Amelia. It was her father, the king. Everyone, including Princess Kirika, is stunned by the king's confession. They don't know what to make of it yet. They need a bit more information to understand the situation. The Elf King apologizes to his daughter and says he regrets stealing that one memory from her. According to him, it's a bitter memory that she might not be able to handle, but he's ready to restore it by dispelling his oblivion skill. Get ready, Princess Kirika. Memories sting, and this one could sting the most. What could the Elf King be hiding from his daughter that's so important to her relationship with her sister? It is time to free her from the shackles of oblivion and grant her the liberation she so desperately needs right now. In an instant, Kirika's mind is flooded with a torrent of memories, transporting her back to a cherished moment from her past. She is but a young girl, and the familiar face of Liam, her dear friend, appears before her. The youthful innocence in their exchange echoes through the years as Liam inquires about Kirika's upcoming sword training. A mischievous grin plays upon Kirika's lips as she implores Liam to keep this secret from her father and sister, Amelia, as what lies ahead is a truly special sword training session. Even in her youth, Kirika possessed an unyielding ambition that burned brightly within her. Fearlessly, she would embark on daunting quests in pursuit of strength, and on this occasion, it led her down a seemingly endless staircase, winding its way into the depths of a foreboding and mysterious dungeon. Whispers of forbidden secrets swirled in the air, luring Kirika further into its dark embrace. Unknown to her, the deepest recesses of the dungeon held a secret entrusted to her by a mysterious figure concealed beneath the depths of a hooded cloak. In the vivid tapestry of Kirika's restored memories, she beholds the enigmatic figure extending a mysterious object into her outstretched hands, accompanied by cryptic instructions. This relic, surrounded by an ornate circle, carries an unknown purpose, yet Kirika's determination and thirst for strength propel her forward. With a swift and resolute motion, she shatters the object's circular frame, unleashing a cascade of energy and unlocking its hidden potential. The mysterious figure assures her that the surface monsters pale in comparison to the abominations lurking within the dungeon's heart, enticing her with the promise of unparalleled growth and power. Kirika finds herself engulfed in an arduous battle against the formidable monsters that inhabit the dungeon's depths. Alas, their sheer numbers prove imposing, threatening to overwhelm her valiant efforts. In a desperate bid for survival, she is compelled to retrace her steps, traversing the treacherous path back to the surface via the labyrinthine stairs that once guided her down. With each step, her heart races, echoing the pounding footsteps of the relentless pursuers that trail closely behind. The unthinkable becomes reality as the dungeon's monstrous denizens breach the boundaries of their confinement, defying the laws that govern their existence. Amidst the chaos, Liam, loyal and unwavering, emerges as Kirika's savior. Assurances of aid from the royal guards and the Elf King himself offer a glimmer of hope in the face of impending doom. With urgency coursing through their veins, Kirika and Liam endeavor to distance themselves from the encroaching danger, their hearts intertwined with a shared determination. Yet Kirika's anxiety swells as she realizes the potential harm that may befall innocent civilians unwittingly caught in the crossfire of her desperate flight. The atmosphere thickens with impending peril as the relentless pursuit of the monstrous horde corners both Kirika and Liam, their backs against the wall. In an agonizing twist of fate, a beastly creature seizes the advantage, its claws piercing through Liam's vulnerable form. Kirika's screams reverberate through the air, a piercing lamentation of despair. But in the midst of tragedy, an astonishing revelation unfolds. Liam, his life seemingly extinguished, defies all reason and stands by Kirika's side, enveloping her in a comforting embrace. Confusion and disbelief clash within Kirika's mind, struggling to reconcile the memory of Liam's demise with his miraculous resurrection. The Elf King interjects, dispelling the haze of uncertainty that clouds Kirika's thoughts. He affirms the bitter truth. Liam did, in fact, perish on that fateful day. The weight of remorse settles upon Kirika's shoulders as she comprehends the magnitude of her guilt. In a final act of compassion, driven by paternal love, the Elf King employed his unique power of oblivion, an extraordinary skill to shield Kirika from the unbearable burden of her actions. He cradled her unconscious body, carrying her away from the source of her anguish, hoping to safeguard her fragile heart from the depths of despair. Time would reveal the shocking revelation that Amelia, Kirika's very own sister, harbored the extraordinary power responsible for the destruction of the dungeon gate. Her command over gravity proved instrumental in sealing the entrance, preventing further monstrosities from escaping, while the royal guards pursued the fugitives. Moreover, Amelia's latent talent extended even further, unveiling the awe-inspiring resurrection skill that brought Liam back from the clutches of death. In the face of tragedy, Amelia's true potential manifested, surpassing her prior understanding limited to her magic creation skill alone. Kirika is left speechless, her emotions teetering on the precipice of overwhelming astonishment. The realization that her sister had performed such selfless acts, despite enduring her mistreatment for countless years, engulfs her in an overwhelming torrent of conflicting emotions. The Elf King, ever willing to shoulder the blame, confesses his own shortcomings, acknowledging that his intervention unwittingly propelled Kirika toward a path marred by anguish and suffering. The weight of this revelation is a heavy burden for Kirika to bear. The Elf King acknowledges his own frailty, recognizing that his actions stemmed from a father's love, an unwavering desire to shield his daughter from unbearable pain. His heart aches as he witnesses Kirika's torment, acknowledging that his misguided attempts to protect her inadvertently steered her toward an even bleaker future. The realization dawns upon him that he can no longer delay the inevitable, and with a resolve tinged with remorse, he vows to rectify his past misjudgments. Akira intervenes, directing Amelia's attention to her own abilities. He urges her to deactivate her World Eye skill, an extraordinary power that she had unknowingly employed when they first crossed paths. With the skill deactivated, Amelia's gaze shifts from the veneer of superficial understanding offered by the status windows, allowing her to truly perceive the world and engage in a genuine conversation with her family, particularly Kirika. Amelia's voice trembles as she admits her perennial struggle to comprehend the desires and intentions of others. The adulation she occasionally received through the shrine of maiden praise only added to her confusion, leaving her yearning for a deeper understanding. In her pursuit of clarity, she placed unwavering faith in her World Eye skill, believing that delving into people's status windows would unlock the answers she sought. However, she now acknowledges the role fear played in her actions, fear of the unknown that held her captive. In this shared moment of vulnerability, the sisters cast aside their preconceptions and run towards each other, arms outstretched in a long-awaited embrace. Tears mingle with smiles as apologies flow freely, bridging the chasm that had long kept them apart. As a note, resurrection skill is the power to bring the dead back to life, and this is not to be confused with reanimation, which controls the revived beings against their will. Kirika and her twin sister Amelia share an emotional embrace, their tears mingling as they exchange heartfelt apologies and remorse. Their faces, streaked with tears, reflect the depth of their emotions. Amelia, curious to see Kirika's face without the interference of her world's eye skill, makes a playful request. "Hey, can I see your face without my fancy skill getting in the way for once?" She gazes at Kirika and with a gasp exclaims, "Wow, I can actually see you. When I look at you, I can feel your thoughts. It's like we're connected on a whole new level." Their father, the wise elf king, watches with a proud and tender smile as his daughters reconcile, their bond restored in peace and harmony. Even Akira, who usually maintains a stoic demeanor, can't help but crack a smile as he witnesses the sisters' heartwarming reunion. He muses on how their feud stemmed from their strong-willed desire to stand on their own. As he watches the scene unfold, memories of his own family come rushing back. The Elf King's presence reminds Akira of his own father, who had abandoned him and his family 7 years ago, leaving them to face hardships on their own. Observing Amelia and her family reunited, a forgotten memory resurfaces. One early morning when his father, already dressed, was diligently preparing lunches for the family. Akira had silently watched, realizing that his father had taken care of him, his sister, and their sick mother without seeking outside help. It suddenly dawns on Akira how challenging it must have been for his father to juggle the responsibilities of caring for 2 babies and a sick wife. Determined, Akira vows to search for his missing father once he returns to Japan, determined to find closure and understanding. With tensions resolved, the Elf King humbly apologizes to Akira for the initial hostility and extends a warm invitation for him to become an honored guest in the Elf Kingdom. Akira is pleasantly surprised by the king's generosity and finds himself looking forward to the warm welcome and delicious food that awaits him. It's been a while since he has eaten so well. With the hostilities gone, Akira's mind drifts to contemplation. He ponders the nature of his world's eye skill and how he, like Amelia, has been using it. The first time he activated the skill, he was bombarded with an overwhelming array of status windows, blocking his view of the real world. But even within the chaos, he caught a glimpse, a vision of the Demon King slaughtering Tsukasa, his classmates, and witnessing the world crumble. The memory pierces his heart, fueling his determination to prevent that dreadful future from unfolding. His thoughts also turn to Amelia's resurrection skill, a potential lifeline if all their efforts to change the future fail. He realizes that he may need to rely on it should the worst come to pass. As if on cue, Amelia finds him by the balcony, expressing her search for him since after dinner. Akira's heart skips a beat as he realizes she has been looking for him. He is glad that she is reconciled with her family and is grateful for her presence. The words he had wanted to say to her get caught in his throat, his emotions overwhelming him. Amelia, sensing his inner struggle, asks him to look up at the stars. She shares how gazing at the stars makes her feel blessed and how she wants to see more of the world alongside him. Taken aback by her heartfelt revelation, Akira's mind races, searching for the right words. Before he can gather his thoughts, Amelia speaks again, assuring him that she believes she can be of help to him and that she wants to follow him on their journey. Their intimate moment is interrupted by Kirika, bursting into the room with an adoring yell and an affectionate hug for her sister. Playfully, Kirika suggests that they share a bed and rekindle their sisterly bond, recognizing that it has been a while since they spent such intimate moments together. She apologizes for barging in and disrupting whatever moment Akira and Amelia were sharing, but emphasizes the importance of sisterhood. Akira finds himself siding with Kirika, encouraging Amelia to go along with her sister's proposition, albeit just for the night. He teases that he will continue to enjoy the evening breeze while they bond. Amelia relents, giving in to her sister's request. With Amelia gone, Akira takes a moment to compose himself. He had wanted to express his feelings more clearly to Amelia, but found himself tongue-tied in the moment. It's as if he lost his bearings the moment she agreed to come with him without hesitation. Realizing that dwelling on his emotions won't serve him well, he decides it's best to get some rest. After all, a good night's sleep can work wonders for clarity and perspective. Meanwhile, Yoru the cat, ever the astute observer, watches the entire scene unfold. With a mischievous twinkle in his eyes, he deems Akira quite the blockhead, unsure of his own feelings and utterly clueless. As morning breaks, the Elf King suggests they extend their stay a little longer, offering the possibility of further exploration and adventure in the enchanting Elven Kingdom. However, Akira remains resolute in his decision to continue their journey, fueled by his determination to alter the future. Amelia assures her father that she will return safely, their bond now stronger than ever. The Elf King, his paternal instincts in full force, insists on assigning guards as their escorts to the borders, ensuring their safe passage. Acknowledging the king's genuine concern and appreciating his efforts, Akira agrees wholeheartedly. With heartfelt gratitude and promises exchanged, Akira and Amelia mount the magnificent Yoru, ready to embark on their departure, bidding farewell to the Elven Kingdom and the warm memories they leave behind. Tsukasa and his spirited companions have undoubtedly proven their mettle by conquering a staggering array of quests with remarkable speed and finesse. As they proudly approach the counter to present their completed quests, the woman behind it can't help but be absolutely floored by their unmatched efficiency. With wide-eyed amazement, she showers them with compliments, marveling at their accomplishments and delivering an encore of the details of their well-deserved promotion. And of course, she insists they leave their signature in the register, a small formality amidst the celebration. Now adorned with the prestigious yellow rank, our valiant adventurers can't help but revel in their newfound glory. They exchange boisterous banter, recounting their most memorable battles and sharing triumphant high-fives. Amidst the jovial atmosphere, one of them cheekily remarks that the surface monsters they've encountered are akin to harmless kittens compared to labyrinthine challenges they faced in the maze. Tsukasa heartily agrees, yearning for opponents who can match their skill and drive, a true test of their abilities. Alas, if only leveling up were as swift as their lightning-quick victories. Yet an unfortunate predicament presents itself. They find themselves in the midst of Yamato, a land devoid of mazes and quests to conquer. Asahina and Nanase exhaustively search and investigate, leaving no stone unturned in their pursuit of Akira Oda. Alas, their efforts yield no results, and the elusive Akira remains as elusive as ever. Tsukasa, the ever-strategic thinker, proposes a departure from Yamato, as it appears to hold no further secrets for them. Asahina, ever hopeful, hesitates to abandon the possibility of Akira's presence. Tsukasa contemplates how to convince his steadfast companion, but to his relief, Asahina concedes. Convinced that Akira is already forging ahead, Asahina declares it's time to hit the road and embark on their next adventure. With unanimous agreement, Tsukasa, the indomitable hero, unfurls a map, illuminating their path for all to see. He traces their journey from the lands of Redis to the human-infested continent of Brute. However, the perils of Yamato loom large, with the king likely hot on their trail, dispatching his men in search of the intrepid adventurers. Luckily, Yamato harbors a hidden gem, a bustling seaport, that will serve as their escape route. They stand at the crossroads of a grand decision, but Nanase, with a hint of reluctance, reminisces about the delectable Japanese cuisine that Yamato is renowned for. How could they possibly resist the tantalizing flavors? Thankfully, their ingenious minds have already devised a plan. Tsuda, the culinary virtuoso of the group, steps up to the plate, offering his expertise in preparing traditional Japanese meals, even without the customary seasonings. The prospect of stocking up on essential ingredients for their journey fills their heart with excitement, and they eagerly anticipate a fun-filled shopping spree. Asahina and Tsukasa, the pensive pair of the group, engage in a separate conversation, contemplating their next destination. Asahina poses the question of which continent they should head to next, and Tsukasa, the master strategist, suggests setting their sights on the realm where the formidable Demon King resides. However, they realize that to undertake such a perilous mission, their levels must be raised, and their worn-out weapons and armor are in desperate need of an upgrade. Tsukasa's mind brims with determination as he resolves to find a bustling city where they can purchase new equipment and mend their battle-worn gear. With a knowing twinkle in his eyes, he announces that he has just a place in mind, a legendary haven of commerce and adventure. Meanwhile, in a desolate and murky swamp shrouded in mystery, a figure emerges from the murky depths, their body draped in an enigmatic cloak. A mischievous grin dances upon their lips as they relish the newfound freedom coursing through their veins. Their first order of business? Unleashing havoc and reducing everything to rubble. With wicked glee, they revel in their sinister intentions, ready to wreak havoc on an unsuspecting world.